Solid.
Got it right.
Jay, I'm so excited.
The only thing I've done right all week.
Yeah, that's true, actually.
You got here. I mean,
Yeah,
still
I
in
made
the car to do it, but that's what your training is for. So, Terry Houin, it is so good to have you back, buddy.
Thanks, buddy.
I have a question for you.
Oh, here we go.
Because I've known you a long time, and Jay, you know everything about all these guys. So
Yep.
you probably know already. You probably read this on Reddit or Wikipedia.
On his Wikipedia, his LinkedIn page, or
So, but I didn't
My
know.
cyber stalker.
yeah.
What is it like y'all's nicknames? What do you call these?
Oh, his is Hot Wheels.
Well, yeah, that's my new one.
Yeah.
So
Call sign?
Your call sign. That's what it is. Yeah.
Okay.
I should have known. Top Gun. I knew that.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
For years, it was Baby. That was always the baby guy. I started with Baby Huey all the way to Baby. So,
And you looked like a baby when I met you,
yeah, so in Green Team, the guys really started going, yeah,
baby.
Baby.
like
Yep.
I didn't know
That's
you
a
would
good
own
one.
up to it so quick. I was like, baby. Call him baby.
That's
Yeah.
a good one. There's
Yeah.
some not good ones out there.
Yeah, snot. I don't want to be called snot.
No.
That's cool, but it's snot.
Yeah. Whoa.
Baby.
Baby.
They put you in a little Bjorn or anything?
You did, well, I probably can't name names, but Phil. You probably remember Phil.
Yeah.
He called me Baby. He would threaten to throw me in a Baby Bjorn at a bars during Green Team, yeah.
It'd have been cool.
Him and Turbo.
You'd have been like Master Blaster.
They need a backpack, yeah.
Yeah, a
Maybe
little
Bash Blast.
backpack on there. You could just.
I'd have been all for that on some of those nights of drinking with those guys.
Yeah.
Give me a ride home.
So what's been going on?
Not too much. It's living a life now.
Yeah.
Retired. Been retired for 6 years now. Yeah, 6 years.
Getting old.
Yeah.
Was so
catching
excited
up.
when
It's older than you.
I thought he was several
The
years
oldest
younger
guy in
than
the
me.
room right now.
I know that's normally me. But when he told me, yo, goodness, yeah,
Yeah, it's
you're
different from
Almost
growing
a
up.
year older than me.
After growing up in the teams, I'm always the young guy forever. Now I'm the old guy.
It was the same way with me in the industry. Like I was literally the youngest guy by 20 years, and then all of a sudden I'm old. Like I went to Africa for a couple of weeks, and I came back, and everybody's older. It's like
That's probably a little longer than a couple weeks.
whatever, man. Whatever. Yeah. So okay, Jay, you want to start with the hard hitting, the background questions
got
or something?
No,
educate these new viewers.
No, there's no crazy hard.
Came down and did personal training with me. What do you
That's
got?
true. Yeah, no. So I was gonna say, you haven't seen any of that footage. You've only seen my physical conditioning footage,
Which I've got an idea for the follow up since he couldn't do the Africa piece.
Yeah, we're gonna
We'll get into it.
Well, so we made a deal. So we had some. You're not from the South, but you understand this come to Jesus meeting.
Yes, I understand that saying.
So we had that with these fellas recently.
We came to Jesus.
we brought
picture of
Jesus
them
in.
Yeah, and then we came to him.
And so we made
Not baby Jesus,
no,
the real Jesus.
no, the lighter skin version.
Yeah.
So we made a deal with these guys that we will do King of the Bush if they do.
They got some metrics. They got some metrics to
Yeah,
meet.
some metrics. So we're going to that. So I said, okay, like we got a new understanding. It's a new day, a new deal. I don't know. What would you say to that? We got a new. It's a new day, a new deal.
renaissance.
All right.
It's a fresh start.
Yeah, Renaissance.
Renaissance.
So we're going to do it. So
Good.
we're going to do
Okay.
some more stuff with you. But they did let me see some of the the stuff that's recorded.
Oh, good.
You exercising him a little bit. And, that's just gold.
I'm pretty much a team guy now. At this point, as far as shooting goes,
Mill Team 6.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you got the sleep and eat part. Bro.
Yeah, I got that all good. Yeah.
No, I was impressed with some of those. What do you call those? Those high knees or what?
Oh yeah, I was doing some Tai Chi out there too. Yeah, right before we got to you, we were doing some. I was climbing mountains and doing some Tai Chi out in Arizona in the desert.
There you go.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. So we went to your new project, newish project.
Yeah.
We went to Skyfall and saw what Camp Vertex is, and got to shoot with you and got spun up. I went from never firing a gun to now being a killer, stone
Certified
cold.
sniper.
I mean, you did give my man some confidence. I don't know what you did because he came back and I was so sick of hearing him talk that he was going to outshoot me and stuff. I was like,
He taught us magic. We did literal magic, and we have it on camera.
Yeah.
I can't wait. I can't wait to be defeated. How about that?
Well,
It's good to like pass that torch, right?
Yeah.
The next generation.
I mean, I guess you don't get to pick who it goes to.
That's true.
You don't get to pick your
Competition
family.
picks you. Yeah.
Well, when I just shot that bison when we were out in Utah, I
But it's
sent
no
Tommy
big
a
deal.
picture.
Just shot a bison.
Yeah, I had sent a picture to Tommy, and he said "King of the Plains," and I was like, "That's right." So we got you're the king of the Cape, basically, and I'm the king of the Plains.
We'll
And
see.
we'll find out who's the king of the bush.
Back to 70s style.
Oh, okay. So, because I don't know, maybe we shouldn't say this, or we can, so you can edit it out if not. But it's funny. Someone who will remain nameless, that works here was like telling me you were coming, and so they had they'd never seen Captain Phillips before.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and so we had to watch it. Which, great movie anyway.
Yeah.
But, I've seen it like 30 times.
Yeah.
But I was like, how have you not seen this movie?
I mean,
Not only is it cool and, like, they get after some bad dudes, but it's like Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
He's a pretty great actor.
Yeah.
I told them, I was like, yeah, Terry was in. He's the tall, handsome guy.
good-looking guy,
Yeah, the big, good-looking guy over there. Yeah.
CGI.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then it was funny. So we're watching it, and it's like this nameless person here will, it's just like the whole time it's like, where the seals at? where I was like, it's a little part, and then bam, there you go. That was it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of nice because they didn't really focus on us. Like all the different stuff that went into that on the backside for real.
Yeah.
Was like 30 seconds of the movie, which is nice.
How great of an actor is that main Somali guy?
He looks and acts the part.
I thought he was terrific in that movie. Like there wasn't a second I didn't believe that was who he was.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, that's the guy that we pulled off the boat. Looks
Yeah.
exactly the same, talked the same, acted the same. Yeah.
Wow.
He did a great job.
Yeah.
I loved when he smacked the dude with the wrench too. Like, I don't know. I was a fan of his on that side.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I got to watch that again because it's been a while since I've seen it. And for whatever reason, in the last year, that's come up a bunch between, our doe hunt down there in Georgia that came up there and a couple other friends in Arizona that came up. So I got to rewatch it so I can speak it.
Yeah. Because I just saw it the other day. But yeah, great movie.
Speaking of that doe hunt, I heard a gun may or may not have been misplaced on that doe hunt.
We did some field testing.
Let me just. Oh, Terry from the Steel teams. I don't know. We could probably put it on there.
Yeah,
so
it's fine.
I'm just
recovered.
thinking.
Yeah, it's recovered.
Compliance.
It was.
It was all on private property, so it never got out of control.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was in the yard.
Yeah.
But if Sean has a problem with it, we can delete it out.
Yeah.
So yeah, take the
This is a made up story.
Hypothetically.
We did all of this on Minecraft.
take a BoomBox on a cull in Georgia. So me and Terry and some more of our redneck buddies, and Terry wants to borrow the BoomBox sitting in the blind next to us there.
Yeah, it's a fucking cool gun.
And so we're all out in the yard, just set up in blind, waiting for him to come out. And so it gets starting to get dark. We get down, we go get somebody else or whatever. And Terry was in the buggy and put it there and gets out to do something. I don't know.
I went out I put the gun in the buggy because he was going to go get you and I was going to go drag my deer up. And he took off like a NASCAR, spun it out, which we didn't see at the time because it's dark. But the BoomBox went tumbling out, which we didn't realize for a number of hours later.
Yeah, or maybe a couple days. I don't know. So it's whatever, like the next day, and I'm like, yo, Terry, how about that BoomBox? You let me shoot it. He's like, what are you talking about? I was like, ha. He's like, no, put it in the buggy. You got it. I was like, nope. Nope. And so it's light out.
Let's go take a walk.
Drive over there, and there it is, lying in the grass.
Yeah. Yeah. In my defense, I put it in the buggy.
Yeah.
I see him grab gun cases
Out of
going
your
in.
hands.
I'm like, oh, okay, he already grabbed his gun.
Yeah.
I'll grab my gun because I let him borrow my gun. But no, that's not the case. So it was
Terry-
weather tested,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's
Still
fine.
runs.
Yeah, it's great.
picked it up, it shot fine.
And it rained. Or
Yeah, it rained a bunch.
Yeah, so it was all good. But I was just, because I was thinking, like, Terry's always so, nice, puts everybody else first. I was like, he sure is being greedy with that gun, making it uncomfortable for me to ask for it back.
And it's like, I got to pack up to go home. Can I have my gun back?
Yeah. Well,
you have your gun. I was like, oh,
here we go.
Here we go. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Are you guys doing another one of those? I thought Jason was talking.
Yeah, we did.
Where are you getting this intel? This has happened like yesterday.
I know everyone. I got ears everywhere.
Are you in the group?
No.
Oh,
He's like the Chinese guy on our group text message that we don't know about.
yeah.
Yeah. I'm that one number you haven't figured out yet.
We're gonna have to red herring. We're gonna have to set him up.
Yeah.
See. So I think we're doing it this year. Those people were real nice.
That was fun.
Yeah.
I talked to them because they wanted to call about something else this week. And it's like, I'm going up to visit Kevin, New Hampshire. Like, oh, that'd be a fun trip to go to. I'm like, you guys want to come up?
Yeah. Why don't they come build guns?
They're like, can we do that? I'm like, yeah, we could probably set that up.
Yeah. They wanted some guns. They bought some guns.
They did. They had a bunch of them down there when I went down last month for, they want to build a range. So I was going down and talk to them about a range.
Nice.
So got a bunch of
build a
bunch
real
of cute
range.
guns down there. Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool. Yeah. What a bunch of nice people.
Oh, they're awesome. Yeah, super nice.
It's so strange, Jay, young man, you're going to realize this. It's like life is sort of backwards in a way. When you're really young and able to do everything, like you can't afford it, right?
Correct.
And then you get older, if you whatever the thing is, you make a little dough, you can afford to go do things. Then you get invited everywhere for free. It's like, if you were a celebrity, like I always think it'd be the worst thing, because you can't take your girl to the movies, you can't take your kids to eat. Yeah, grocery store, like everything would be a burden. And they're wealthy and they get everything for free. So maybe that's just payment for that.
I mean, that is a running joke here amongst us young cats is like, once you make $1 million, you never have to spend another dollar. Because, we see some companies be nice to you and send you some expensive scopes and guns and this and that. We're like, man. And then if we were to hit that company, I'd be like, hey, can we get a discount? Like, yeah, how's 3% sound? All right, great.
Well,
it's dues paid.
Yeah,
exactly.
You guys
did a lot of that. Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't see the first 25 years of a grind. But it is strange. I mean, it feels nice. Like I'm grateful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what it reminds me is like also try to share.
Mm-hmm. Oh, pay it forward.
Like bring people to Africa or do whatever. Yeah, but it is nice. Like even I can get excited about. I get to go on a doe call in Georgia, like where I'm from. Like who cares? But then it's like it's also awesome. I get to go hang out with my buddies and get to test stuff. I don't know. Life's. I guess a lot of that's just perspective. It's good. Life's good.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So, all right. We did
How'd you
it before.
learn how to shoot?
Rambling on.
I taught him.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, I went down to Georgia when we were doing the 300
doe
blackout.
calls.
He showed me how to do everything.
Yeah. Shot some does. And
It's like, welcome to the sniper world.
Like just point it there, squeeze the trigger.
And put the crosshair on it.
Yeah,
That's all you got to do.
that's pretty much it.
Squeeze slow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where did you learn to shoot? What is your background? We need to go through it all really quickly, at least.
So grew up in Indiana, Midwest, hunting, fishing, outdoors, that kind of stuff. But Indiana,
your dad, or like your family, is all.
So
into
dad
it?
was in Vietnam, so he was not. He didn't want to mess around with guns, and kind of got burnt on that stuff. So
Yeah.
I learned how to hunt and shoot from some of our friends growing up.
Yeah.
And
Uncle
Indiana,
Rodney down the road.
Yeah, it's like family, friends kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
Indiana at the time, you couldn't shoot rifles for deer.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, Midwest.
So we had
Those
shotguns.
Midwest-
So shotgun stuff. So I never really got into like sniper stuff until I got into the military. That's really where I learned all my shooting stuff was in the military.
So most of it was just growing up. You're shooting like 22s.
Yeah,
and
22s, shotguns, bow and arrow, that kind of stuff. Shooting squirrels and birds and deer and that kind of thing. But yeah, it wasn't until basically learned how to shoot in buds, right? Like how to be proficient and shoot the targets.
I honestly didn't even know that was part of buds.
Used to be. I don't know what they do anymore, if they still shoot real rifles or not. I'm sure they
I
do.
thought it was just all the physical stuff. I didn't even know it was shooting.
Yeah, so
I
buds,
figured one phase was like,
so first phase traditionally is just beat the shit out of you for 6-8 weeks and pound out all the bad people that aren't going to be able to learn, right? Like the physical aspect of being a SEAL is not, it sucks, but it's not that hard. It's like, how do we craft the mental piece of judging the character and your integrity and all that stuff. So that's what first phase is. We're just going to beat you down and figure out who you really are as a person. Then we're going to teach you. So second phase is all diving, physics, all that kind of stuff, water-based stuff. And then third phase is all the firearms, explosives on a very basic level.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew the other stuff, but I never thought about the shooting part.
Yeah, then they go SQT now, so then they go a little bit more advanced, basic CQB, land warfare stuff, and then once you get to the SEAL team, you start doing a little more advanced stuff. So in the 90s, when I came through, we did that, and then when I re-enlisted, I wanted to go to sniper school. So that was kind of my bonus of like, yeah, because at the time there was very little. Like you would send SEAL Team 4, where I was at, you would send 2 or 3 guys a year to sniper school. So it was like a really coveted position.
Yeah.
So I wanted to do that. So I was like, okay, I'll re-enlist, but I want to go to sniper school. So I got sniper school in 97.
But what made you really want to do the sniper stuff rather than
Just because it's outdoor, like in the woods, shooting guns, very similar to the hunting stuff I like doing anyways.
That makes sense.
A little more high speed at the time because we were doing the cameras and the comms and a bunch of other stuff that not everybody else was doing.
Yeah, and this is pre 9/11 too. So
this is 90, 95, 96, 97.
Have drones replaced a lot of that?
Drones have, yeah. And like our skill set now, being a sniper, at least at development group where I was at, is completely different than what I learned. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I would
sneaking
imagine
through the woods and living off your back and spending weeks in the field. That's not really what we do anymore.
It's interesting. You know, like you and I are within months of the same age, and I always say like I'd never been on the internet till after I graduated college. Like I didn't even own a computer until after I graduated college. So for them, it's like, But seeing the progression,
you guys had Al Gore invent everything for you.
That's right. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean. But how much all that's changed, reconnaissance and all the stuff, and now, you know, like Sophic, the SOCOM show in Tampa now is like half drones.
It's all technology.
You hear Sig talking about.
Even Sig's talking about getting into drones and from an offensive side and a defensive side.
Yeah, when I was there, I was like, I had to take a picture, download a picture, load it into an old email, kind of thing with a computer that would, old laptop that we take out in the field with us and send it.
I mean, that wasn't. I mean, it's just evolving so quickly. Like that was not that long ago. Like that part, us being like graduating high school, that was a long time ago. But that part was not long ago. I mean, I remember like working with y'all's cousins and first learning about they were just using like drones then. Like they were just starting to use it for certain things, like in new applications, like small drones and stuff. And I was like, what? Yeah, what?
Yeah, all the small stuff's like really fairly.
But it was all reconnaissance based. And I was like so shocked. I thought, oh, that's so in the future. It's like so far advanced. It's like, 5 years later, my 7-year-old son has drone flying around the yard.
Even think about like thermals, like late 90s when I went through green teams, like the thermal we had is like this big, sits on top of your gun. You'd have to have your offset and do your dope for your thermals completely different. And
weighed 4.5 pounds.
Now they're like the size of your phone.
Yeah.
They're tiny. Yeah.
Well, I mean, the drone thing, like I remember watching, it's probably 2004 or 5. I was still pretty young watching that show, that Future Weapons show.
Oh, Future Weapons. That was a cool show.
First time I saw a drone was like, I mean, it's like the size of a small plane, but guys throwing a plane.
Oh, yeah.
And that it seemed like, I don't even know if it was in the special operations community or if it was just like legs throwing them, but
no, within that community they had them the same way. Like
it was like
it
was like 40-minute, like a 40-minute battery basically, and just
probably not even, But I remember seeing that for the first time. I'm like, oh, that's interesting because it looked like at the time there was like I forget the company, but like Air Hogs was the thing. These RC planes. A bunch of us were into that, and it was very similar. I'm like, oh yeah, it's the same thing. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. The one that I'm thinking of was more like plane based.
Yeah.
The Navy had one, the big ones. They'd launch and recover. When I was in Africa, we'd recover them off the beach all the time. They'd wash up, they'd crash them. They'd like, what the hell? Locals bring this in. It's like, hey, sir, is this yours? Like,
fell from the heavens.
Yeah, we'll take that. Thanks.
Yeah, they had a wingspan that was like kind of like this table, I think. Yeah.
Scan Eagles and a couple other ones.
Interesting. Well, I remember asking the last podcast we did, but I don't remember your answer. Like growing up in Indiana, did you want to be a Navy SEAL?
No. So like 90. So I graduated in 91. I had no idea what a SEAL was. Right. So small town, grew up swimming outdoors. I was smart enough to realize that college was not the right answer for me at the time. Not mature enough to go to college. So really the options were stay here and work. And I was a mason doing brickwork at the time. Or
And that's probably what you'd end up doing forever.
yeah, and I'd do that forever, or I can go join the military. So a good friend of mine, Jeff, his family always went and did scuba diving vacations. I'm like, that sounds awesome. I want to do that. So I talked to the Navy guy. I'm like, can you do this? He's like, yeah, you want to sign up for that? Then he had a big poster. He was like, or this fancy like guns and explosives and airplanes. I'm like, fuck yeah, look at that guy's mustache,
awesome.
right?
Fuck yeah, who don't?
Like a mustache MP5? Fuck yeah, give it to me.
Yeah,
So,
our
yeah.
age, MP5,
Yeah.
Arnold Schwarzenegger, Bruce Willis,
Yeah,
that
Navy
was
SEAL, like all that stuff. Yeah.
Sheen.
Yeah.
Charlie Sheen.
When they come in through the window and they're because they don't have the stocks out, so they're punching them out with that sling.
Yeah, hell yeah. Yeah, so he talked me into signing up for that didn't really tell me like what buds was or the attrition rate or like what would happen if I didn't make it. So
Well, I do agree. Well, I appreciate him in that respect. Like, it's amazing how many, like, whether it's your kids or whatever, your friends, and you go on do something. If you don't tell people it's hard, how, like, mentally, how good that is.
yeah, I think I was beneficial because I grew up in that little farm community. It's like, hey, this is what you said you're going to
guys
do,
are
so you're going to do it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
there really wasn't an option. So luckily I made it through and was fine. But like these days, so my last job before I retired was running our pre-buds pipeline up in Chicago. And you see all these kids, they come in and all the Reddit channels, all this stuff, and all they want to do is cheat because they know it's hard instead of doing the real work up front. So
Yeah, and when you're young, it's so...
like they're so scared of what's like
You're,
3 months down the road that they're cheating now instead of, I always tell them like, hey, build the building blocks. It's a ramp. Like to get here, you got to start here. So the longer you take to do it the right way, it's going to be a harder climb at the end.
I think it only took me like 40 years to figure out. It's now I love like things that are difficult where I didn't when I was young. You know, I guess it's just part of maturity, like you're talking about with these kids. But now I enjoy things when they're difficult because for me it's like, well, all of us can do any of these things, you know, but people don't. And so you know, like when I just went to Cameroon hunting, and you know they'll only let you stay in the jungle for 2 to 6 hours. You know, like some people can't even do 2 hours in the jungle.
Holy crap.
And then, but you know, it's not like guys that are going through buds and doing PT and stuff every day.
Old wealthy dudes.
Yeah, and so you know, a guy that was there in another camp but connected to ours when I was there, he couldn't do two hours every day.
Really?
And he asked me because like I think he shot a bongo, but nothing else. But I shot a bongo and a buffalo, and he's like,
yeah, that bongo's cool.
yeah, the bongo, that was cool. It was so awesome. It was a cool story too. But so he said, so he was only in the forest or in the jungle for like 70 minutes and they were done. And he's like, you know, it was like whatever, 1 kilometer or something. And he says, what was yours? And I said, 11 kilometers, 6.5 hours. He's like, what? I said, yeah. And he's like, I can't do 2 hours. And I'm like, well, I'm not coming to Cameroon and not getting this done. Like, they can carry me back. These little pygmies are strong. Like, then we had to, you know, hike out 6 kilometers to the road. So,
Well, the thing too, and maybe Buds isn't a great example of it because I'm sure they remind you of it all the time.
You remember
but
how it was, right?
Yeah. But it's like if you don't know you can quit, then it's just like you just do it. Like if no one's reminding you, like what you're talking about, where it's like you're just doing it. You understand, like, oh well, we have to do this if we want to do the thing. Like if no one's telling you, hey, you could just quit, then you're just. Most people, I think, would just do it. Maybe that's not the same way. I'm sure it's. Obviously, I was going to say, I'm sure.
well,
Buzz are telling
that's
you
really
you can
set
quit
up
whenever,
to try to get people to quit. I mean, that's. But yeah, I mean, probably if they were encouraging and stuff like that, lots of people would make it through.
I know so many people growing up, and like even just anything that I can think of, it's like, well, if you don't know what's on the other side, it's just like either you can get it done or there's this unknown. I'm like, well, we're just doing it. Let's just get it done. Like, I can't quit. I have to finish it. So,
well, I was, me like in the jungle walking behind Rad, and it's like part of it is, you know, humiliation or embarrassment sometimes when you get tired. Because I'm like, if I call it, I'm going to hear about this till the end of fucking time from Rad. And it's like, well, if they can do it, I mean, I would assume it would be some of the stuff. I didn't go through buds with Jay, but I would just assume it's like talking shit. It's like all of you made it through. Like,
yeah, but I mean,
why can't I?
Yeah, it's one of the things. Buds physically is hard, but it's not impossible. Like everybody can run, everybody can do the old course, everybody can swim for the most part, right?
Yeah.
But like it's the mental challenge of, are you willing and like mentally capable of dealing with the suck day after day after day after day? And that's what we want, right? Because when we go to combat, it's going to suck.
Well,
like there's no easy days when you're doing some of the stuff we do.
Some of that, it's a shame like your body starts to let you down at the age it does because you just...
Right about 45. 45 is the magic number, it seems like.
And typically, like mentally, we're probably more in our primes now, But
yeah, I think I knew
match.
When I retired, I knew more about the job, especially from a senior level of management and not just the problem solving that it takes to get on a target and kill the bad guys, but like all the different logistics and moving parts that go into it. And then the foreign policy, like, there's crap everywhere, right?
There's all that, but there's just some part of maturity where, hey, nobody's dying, everything's going to be okay.
Yeah.
Like there's that part. And then understanding if it's easy or free, like at this age, like I'm successful enough, like my life is good in a sense, but like I'll never be satisfied with like my career.
Yeah.
So that drives me. But the idea of if somebody offers me something for free or there's an easy way, it's at this stage of my life, I probably don't want that thing. So it's not interesting to me.
Well, that's what I would tell the students, like, if it's worth having, it's worth working for.
It's true. And
like,
I think when you're young, you
is,
just think that's old people talking to you. But as you get wisdom from getting older, it's like, it's true. And it doesn't matter what it is. If I go to a trade show or anything, if somebody offers me something for free, that's some shit I don't want if you're having to give it away to me.
Yeah.
I don't, in the tough things, it's also, you enjoy learning probably so much more now than you did when you were young.
Oh yeah.
That is, every time I go through a struggle, like it always sucks. Like, whatever it is, family or work or physical things, it's like, it always sucks. It never gets better. But what you realize is, hey, there's a bright side to this. I'm going to be different in a good way. If you're smart and you have a good attitude about it, it's like, this shit will change you, but better. Like you'll be better.
You're earning it.
And you don't have to know, like, I don't have to know what that change is going to be or how I'm going to end up or why it's going to be important now. But you know that you got enough in the rear view mirror to where you're going to be better in some way. So like the suck is okay. It's like, okay, well, this isn't great, but you can be uncomfortable. That's fine. But it's going to change me in a way that I'm going to be smarter or have a different perspective. Like you're just gaining wisdom.
Yeah. And that's like probably the biggest thing I missed from my previous life was like those challenges.
Yeah.
Like it's good to have that kind of that beat down and suck sessions and like learning stuff and struggling through pieces. Cause
well, the level that you guys were doing it, holy shit.
Yeah.
And then there too, like a deployment, you don't have your family and stuff like that. At least here, like you can go home to your wife and your kids and you've got that.
Yeah. But yeah, it's good. That's probably what I miss most now. Cause like life's pretty fucking easy, right?
It is a strange thing that we put young guys through that, and then, okay, now you're done. Like get a job. Normal life.
Go work in an office. Yeah, no thanks.
Well, what you were just saying too, I always think that there are, and it goes with what you just said or before, Kevin, but like I always look at people as like two types of people, and I see it a lot, especially with people my age, my generation. Like in 2024, our lives, at least as Americans, are so easy and can be so mundane that I think the two variations of people are people who go have these adventures and create these like instances of this sucks so that they can get through it, they can earn it. And then there are people whose lives are so mundane and boring that they create problems for themselves so that they can tell people like, look what I overcame.
Yeah. Just look at the headlines right now.
Right.
Two ways of handling that. I think this reminds me of a conversation I had with my driver the other day.
Oh yeah.
We were going through somewhere and it was like suburbia America, where there was a Lowe's and a Target and all this stuff. And so it was a big town for this area. And I started getting anxious in the truck. And I start thinking about, not bad, but just like, Like, I don't like it. And then, just asking about, so it made me just think. And so I started asking the driver about like life goals and these sorts of things, and, aspirations and things you want to do in life and before you die or whatever it is, And it's like, I just want like a nice house for my kids, and basically wanted to live right there in suburbia. and I just like, I couldn't say it, but I was like I'm having anxiety. Like, I would rather die than have this life and, retire sitting on the front porch. Like, I feel so much anxiety to go and do things and adventure. And right now, like, I couldn't go back to living like a normal life like that. It just, there's no way. There's just so much more, and it's so much more fulfilling. I don't know. It's weird that I was just thinking that the other day. It just like caused me anxiety to be and think about, holy shit. Like, that would be worse to me than like most struggles that I could think of, unless someone's dying or something.
It's just interesting to look at, like, again, I can only kind of reference the people that I grew up with or that are my age, but I have so many friends who they have really no real
do you
worries.
really have that many friends?
Okay, I have a couple friends. They say they're my friends at least. But I'm like,
his mom told him.
Yeah. They have no real worries in the world, and they're constantly bringing these problems upon themselves, just like random bullshit.
I think it's human nature to need a struggle, like we're talking about.
Yeah.
So when these people, like I tell kids all these days, like, life's way too fucking easy because look at what you're complaining about, right?
Yeah, you can't starve to death.
You're manufacturing struggle for yourself.
As America, we're definitely doing it, which is sad as fuck.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think in general, people need to, I don't know.
They got to have something to work for. And if they don't, they get kind of anxious and
dumb.
like, oh, now let's.
Yeah, because there's like an endorphin rush, or there's pride in being like, look what I overcame.
Yeah, problem solving.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, for me, I think it was just very fortunate. Like, and I say it a lot, but found a passion at a young age. Mm-hmm. Like, there's no way I'll never stop doing this job.
Yeah.
Like, I would rather, like, I've foregone a lot of my personal life to do this, and it's just like, it's selfish because like, this is very fulfilling for me, and this, like, I'm simple in a lot of ways, and like, everything I put into my work or hunting, for instance, I get it back, and it's not like been true for my personal life. So I'm just like, ooh, well, that sucks and it hurts, and there's no way, like, I can't figure that out, like that simple shit. But it's like, everything here in these places, these other two parts of my life, I get everything back. So it's very selfish. So I'm just like, I'm glad I found a passion, because I can't imagine having a job that you fucking hate or just even don't like, because you have to spend so much time to do that, and then you're doing it for money, and it just seems horrible to me. Like, I've been spoiled my whole life. Like, I was just lucky to. Is that how you did with like?
Yeah, it's very similar to SEAL teams. Like that, what they gave me there was that family, that community, that sense of purpose of like, hey, I'm doing something that's bigger than myself.
Yeah,
and that drove me. Like, I don't mind the suck because I know what the payout is. At the end. Like, it's taking care of my buddies or taking care of my nation, whatever that. Like that, that's what drove me for so many years.
Yeah.
Is problems, like I said, problem solving, right? Like, hey, we got this problem. How do we figure it out?
And
like,
you can't let them down. It's like having a kid.
Oh, like, yeah. I mean, they say there's no failure, but there's failure to a degree, right?
Yeah.
So you got to figure it out. Problem solve. Like, okay, we can't go this way. Can't cross that river. How are we going to get over there to the target or whatever it's going to be?
I think like the failures, it's interesting for me because I think, again, like, it's wisdom. Like, I was just so driven not to have a job that I fucking hated, that like I wasn't going to lose. Like, okay, you're right. Like, I make more mistakes than I make.
Yeah, this is my path.
Yeah, so we're going to get there, but I think we go this way. But okay, if you can't, like, we're not going to give up, because that means I got to go get a job. Mm-hmm. Like, so we're not doing that. That's being able to have having a purpose other than just money. Because in this country especially, like, it's not that hard to have a job and make a living.
No, you can find a job if you want one. Yeah. That was the hardest part about retiring is like, okay, now my country doesn't really need me. And now I'm going to be home 1,000%. my family doesn't really need me.
My wife's going to kill me.
Yeah, my Alicia and the girls, they had their schedule that I'm there 80% of the time usually, or 30% of the time maybe. They go full tilt into that without that purpose of the nation needing you. It's like you burn the bridges pretty quick. After about 2 months of being the perfect dad, being home every day, she's like, I love you, but get the fuck out of here for a little bit because you're messing up our mojo of like, I'm in charge now. I'm going to discipline the girls, and like that shit doesn't work.
Yeah, you spend the first 20 years of their life being there part-time. Like,
And then like that, and then missing the tribe. Like the guys are still doing the guy's job. Like physically, I know I'm like past my prime. I'm not kicking indoors anymore. That's not my job. Mentally, I'm still there. I still know how to do the job. I still know how to solve the problem.
Yeah.
It's like moving past that sense of identity of I'm a SEAL for 26 years and some change to now I'm just a civilian dad. That was hard.
I think I honestly can't imagine that, you know, and then too.
It'd be like you if you just stepped out of Q or just like, I'm done with the gun industry.
Yeah, and you went to Starbucks.
Yeah,
like completely different. I'm not gonna shoot guns, not gonna talk guns or hunt or anything else again because that's who you are.
Yeah, that would be crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, I could see how it's so difficult for guys.
Yeah.
Especially like it's such an extreme being in like special forces.
Yeah.
And especially the last 25 years.
Mm-hmm.
I disagree with the way, you know, any of the, just the tier one group, the way that they do it, like where you're old at 42. It's like kind of in your prime. You know, or 45. Well, physically, yeah, but mentally you get so much better. And like we got all, I mean, look at Tom Brady. My man does not look worse than he did when he was 19. All right. So things are different now overall, just like, you know, like, you know, other technologies. You could still be fit enough to do tons of things, but all that knowledge, that's the stuff that's really valuable. You can have anybody kick a door in, but like, you know, being in that for 26 years, you don't train someone up on that in 6 months. Like, fuck that. But, you know, I started thinking about, well, okay, so let's say I sell the company. Like, my job is not physical. Like, I could do my job here until my mind gives up, you know, which could be, who knows? It could be 65. It could be 95. So I can still work. So that's like a huge blessing in itself. You know, they're not forcing me out. And I can do it as long as I want. So I'm like, well, I get so much. So I had to be really honest because, you know, you start looking at this number to where I'm like, oh, I could have my own island or whatever the thing is you would want, you know. And it's like, well, what are you going to do there? And I'm glad that I learned that at 35 when I sold Advanced Armament because I'm like, I'm rich. Life is
do the same thing again.
Life is easy. And then, you know, after like, I'm so excited to take the kids to school every day. And after like a week, I'm like, you hit your buddies up. Like everybody has a job.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I got all this money. I can go do whatever I want, but I got to go do it alone. Like we got little kids, they're in school. Like all my buddies have jobs, you know, they're either in the military or they have to work. And so then it's like, well, this kind of sucks, man. Like, so I start something else. I think about it now. It's like I sold now. Okay. I go to Africa and like hunt every day. Like, no, like half the time is perfect. And what am I going to do? Like, I don't know. Start another company is all right.
Same thing again,
Yeah. So I don't, I mean, you guys don't have that option. But I think it is, like I think of, you know, for, you know, the two most elite groups in this country, it's like the numbers are so small.
Yeah.
And Supreme Court justices, they can never even have another job. So like, why wouldn't we do that with, you know, you guys, and then it's not that many dudes.
We kind of do to a degree because, I mean, there's room for us to stick around to 30 for the most part for guys if they want to.
It still would be my age, your age.
Yeah.
Well, I was curious about, are the teams good about, instead of forcing you out, understanding like, okay, yeah, maybe you're not going to kick doors like you said anymore, but because I know, and maybe it's just a regular normal career path, but I know as some guys get older, they, you know, now you're an instructor at Buds or pre-Buds, like you were saying, like, is that an intentional thing within the command to be like, hey, this guy's still useful. Like we can still use him. Let's do it somewhere else. So.
Yeah. It's to a degree. Yeah. I mean, we could, like, again, military wise, you can stay enlisted 30 years as long as you're making rank and they hit the wickets. But, and we've got a good pipeline to keep guys around in those positions. And then we got plenty of our GS jobs, our government jobs, like what John was doing. Like there's plenty of civilian positions for guys to stick around and maintain that. But also too, it's like I knew when I left that I was kind of done there. Like I needed to leave the command when I left the command, which is good timing. Like I was burned out. I was kind of an asshole to the family. I needed to get away from
family
stuff.
stuff too.
Yeah. I mean, the best thing I ever did for myself was went to NICO, so the National Intrepid Center Excellence for 30 days, like head to toe, full body, like NASCAR pit stop scans. And I identified a lot of problems like alcoholism and triggers and mental issues and a bunch of other stuff. So like taking that break for 30 days up there and being clean and sober for 30 days was good. And I realized like, hey.
Save your marriage?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Because I was like,
awesome.
Yeah, come home, drink a 6-pack by dinner time, and then have half a bottle afterwards, and like just be an asshole. Not too much to the kids, but like just not providing the love that I should have. So that was good. So then I took that step back. And,
sounds like a good woman.
Yeah, she was. Yeah, tougher than I am. She stuck around with it, put up with it. Yeah. But like doing that 30 days up there and staying and understanding the issues and then solving the issues. And I went and did like training job for like 3 years. So back to the point of if you stick around too long, you get jaded and you get burned out. And it's not really healthy to have too many of those guys around unless they're
they're too jaded. Old guys that are jaded. Yeah.
Well, then you get the same thing with the industry, right? You get the old guys that are stuck in their ways of like, hey, this is how we always do CQB, or this is how we always do things. Like things evolve.
Well, that's interesting.
There's room for evolution, and then there's also room for, hey, these are the SOPs for a reason. Like we always take flotation for a reason because I don't want to get knocked out and drown, right? There's certain things we always do because we've proven in blood that this is how we need to do things. But there's also room for improvement, like the drone thing and technology and dogs and like all this other stuff. Like the younger generation are much smarter than we are.
Oh yeah.
Like, hey, you guys figured out because like we move the ball to the 1 yard line. You guys get it across the goal line.
You wouldn't think my kids are just about your kids' age, and you know, my oldest daughter, like at 2 years old, she had an eye touch, and you know, she could hardly talk, and I could ask her to play something and she would do it. And so it's like, you can't replace that. Like when they start learning at that age, we're idiots.
Yeah. So to your point, like once you get to a certain age, you know, we do a good job of leadership and mentorship that pass along the good lessons learned. Yeah. So we're not reinventing the wheel too much, but you gotta provide room for growth on the younger guys coming up too. For sure. You don't want to stalemate a young guy that's coming up and can't make rank because the old guys don't want to leave.
It's interesting because, you know, for a couple months I was the oldest person here a couple years ago. And, you know, we had a lot of people then. And I always have loved hiring young because, like, you know, oftentimes a lot of it's selfish, of course, but it's like, okay, they don't have families. They're not married. You know, they can sacrifice a lot of personal time. They're enthusiastic. They're not jaded. And then as this company really grew, I realized, oh my God, I was an idiot. I did not have the appreciation that I should have for like wisdom and experience. You know, because you got some smart people. It's like real smart people will learn from their mentors and not have to go through the same freaking struggle where they screwed up. And so now, you know, it's been the past year has been getting a lot of experience in here, you know, at a higher level. And the idea of mentorship, like let's grow, you know, I don't want to bring in everyone from the outside. Like let's grow, you know, harvest their own crop. Like let's promote and grow the people that
Which is funny because like some of the stuff I do now is like consulting on that stuff with some manufacturing companies at home. And like there is no leadership development. Like on the civilian side, it is insane to me coming from the military. Like they just hire people because they've been around the longest. Like, okay, hey, John, you've been here forever, so you're going to be the new shift manager. He didn't know how to be a manager.
Well, and people think they're entitled to that because they've been around that long.
Or you get the entitled piece of it too. So like there's no development of that people. Yeah,
because we have a lot of people here that are all the things. They work hard. They show up on time. They'll do the extra. You know, they're loyal to the company. You know, they are not afraid of the growth and all that. But they don't want to manage anyone. And
that's the hard part.
And I've noticed because now, you know, like I don't run the daily stuff. We've got a CO and that's why the company's grown so much in a year because I was basically the biggest hindrance, right? And but seeing that with some people, And they're always, so when you promote within that department as it grows, they're always pissed off when they're not promoted, but they're the people who absolutely will not do the management. They hate it. And that doesn't mean there's not a spot for you. Yeah. Like, you're incredible. Like, I want you to retire here. You're do a great job, but they don't really want to grow. But it's almost, I guess that's human nature too. Well, I've been here longer or whatever. You didn't offer that to me. It's like, well, you refuse to manage anyone. Like,
I laid it out there. I gave you the opportunity. You just didn't take it.
It's an interesting thing too. Like, when you say leadership, to me, that kind of means like the guys that manage departments or are in charge of them aren't always the leader. To me, like that's a director, or they do all but because to some degree, there's just people who are natural leaders, and it's not through training or whatever. Like, I see it with several people at our company. It's like, hey, I don't want you in that to manage, because then your job's going to be managing, and like, you're incredible at what you do, and it doesn't mean you can't be one of the most important people at the entire company, and you got a boss. Like, your talent, if you work hard, is way more valuable than you trying to manage. Like, you're a shitty manager, you're incredible at this. So
yeah, do that. Do what you're good at.
Yeah, like, I find that even like within myself. It's like, yeah, I'm good at a couple things.
Yeah, and a lot of people aren't naturally drawn to. They don't have that personality to be a leader. They're like very introverted, like engineers, right?
Yeah,
engineers are kind of weird. They're awesome at what they do, but
most
they're
of them
freaking weird.
Yeah.
So they're not going to engage with you and learn about what's going on at home. Why are you not productive today?
Yeah.
Like, that's not where they excel at. But then you got other people that are a little more extroverted and really good at being a people person. And then you can teach them how to be a leader. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It is an interesting point that you bring up about the civilian side, or like the workspace, the leadership thing. Like, in the military, you get forced to go to leadership development courses or classes, stuff like that. And I'm very surprised that, like, these companies that essentially are running the world, like some of these Fortune 500 companies, it's just,
a lot of big companies, they do leadership development, they do offsites, and they do a bunch of stuff at developing their people, but it comes at a cost, right? Yeah. And a lot of normal companies don't have that budget to put into developing their leaders.
Well, I think Brad, our CO, does it here, and it's just naturally like he wants to do it. And
mentorship is the best way to do it. Like, just spending time with people, getting to know them.
Brad lives and breathes it too, though. Like,
he does.
We all went to dinner last night, and we got to the restaurant early, and he and I were sitting on a bench, and he had showed me his phone. He was on his way from here, the office, to dinner. He was listening to a podcast about, like, the podcast was called like Work Life or something, and I'm like, "You just bringing it home?" And he's like, "No, it's not." He's like, "I've learned over the years, it's not." You don't separate it. It's just a blend of everything, and you make it all work at once. But like, he spends his free time figuring out how to be more proficient or a better leader at what he's doing. And like, not everyone is like that.
He's by education a mechanical engineer, but he's just like drawn to that stuff, and like, he cares about people, and and also I think a company like ours, or I don't know, it would even be probably the same with the military if you were just in the Navy, or you're just in infantry or whatever, and then you're having to deal with all that bureaucracy, which is probably a lot of when you guys get burnout, to me, is the bureaucracy, and how like some ways you guys don't have any rules, right? And then other ways you have the same rules as like the basic dude in the Navy. Like, how does that make any fucking sense? Like, the bureaucracy of things. And for me, it's like, how do we grow the company and not add a lot of that shit? And in some ways, I view it as impossible, but we can make a lot of effort and change to not, anchor the design engineers like we do. A lot of the employees that are working 9 to 5, like, I have extreme expectations of them. So like, why would we have the same rules for them as everyone else? And in some ways, like you've seen here, like, I even geographically separate things.
Yeah.
So where we don't have to do that, because it's a thing where, it's real easy as you grow to be like, something happens, fucking make a rule, applies to everyone.
It just carries on and carries on and carries on.
It is, but then you kill like the spirit, to me, of the company. And so it's like, okay, why don't we try to, the person that does the stupid thing, let's educate them on it, give them some corrective action, support them, and okay.
Yeah.
And if they want to repeat it, okay, get rid of the idiot. Like don't like,
hinder everybody else.
Yeah. So all that leadership stuff. I mean, it just, whether it's the military, I think, or like civilian life or whatever. Because for me, like what I want is for this company to be special forces. Like I want us to be Navy SEALs, like
agile.
Yeah, agile and just not doing dumb shit because that's the rule. Like how can we continue to be awesome? Because like what I really want is just like freedom, and it's not like in some big patriotic sense necessarily, but like my life goal. And I think I realized it from a young age because I had a father who had a miserable fucking work life, and he made it miserable for us at home when he lived there. And like all these things, to like a big degree was, okay, why don't I just skip all that shit and not be miserable, and like, let's not create these rules, and let's just do things that make sense. Let's not do dumb shit because other companies are doing them or this or that. Yeah. Like, how do we keep this place great and we can be agile and we're free to not wait for a solicitation from the military to come out. We've been in this industry a long time. We worked with these guys for a long time. We're smart. Let's come up with stuff they don't even think they know or that they need. And, okay, that's a good fight because it's like guerrilla warfare. We're not having to compete with 14 other companies.
Yeah, projecting forward a little bit.
Yeah, and, like, all that makes sense to me. But, also, like, not having the aspirations of, to me, like SIG was special forces, and then they became, they've worked in reverse.
Yeah.
And now it's, okay, so let's not focus on just money. Like, it's a for-profit business. We got to make money. But let's focus on, stick to our core beliefs and why we started the company. Let's be innovative. Let's try to be the highest quality. Let's improve quality as we grow. And let's not cut corners to make money. Like, okay, we all sometimes have to sacrifice, and it hurts a little bit. But that's short-term suck. That's way better than long-term,
you got
average.
You got that ethos as a company to stay that light and agile and flexible. And, you got to make money, but you don't have to make all the money.
Yeah, just the freedom. Because for me, like, literally the money is, I never aspire, and I don't now, to be like a billionaire. I aspire to have the life that billionaires are jealous of. I want money so I have more freedom. So that means I don't have to do shit I don't want to do. Mm-hmm. That's all it means to me is like, and how can I buy time? Well, like me having a plane in Africa is I'm buying time.
Yeah.
That's not, me
it's
doing
not
it for the gram.
Flex of, hey, look, I got an airplane.
Yeah, and I have like a small plane that most people could afford if they sacrifice some other shit. But it gives me a lot of freedom, and Africa is a great hunting destination, but it's also like Africa is very inexpensive.
It's surprising too, because most people don't realize it. It's like, there's a lot more freedom there than you think.
There's more than there is
where
here.
we went to with Andrew and Crusaders, there's nothing out there. It's like, if you want something, you got to provide it for yourself.
Yeah.
You're not going to Lowe's or Home Depot or Target or anything else to go grab your new milk for the week. You got to plan forward and
yeah, and if you're in a bind,
but you're right, it does provide a real freedom.
Yeah,
because there's
it's simple, right? It's like this is like to our point earlier, like life's too easy here. Like life's not that easy in Africa.
No, you can't get Amazon at Crusader Safaris.
Well, it breaks it down to the simple place. Okay, I got a roof over my head for the family. We've got electricity to charge the phones or provide light and heat, and then I've got food on the table. Like those are things that matter.
Yeah.
Outside of that, is everybody healthy? Okay. Then we go from there.
Yeah, I mean, and even the electricity, like only have it half the time, but it's okay. So we just set up solar and batteries and generator. And, like to your point about not only can we just run down the store in 10 minutes and get milk, but we can't even get mail. Like our mail or packages, if we can get something, we have to drive an hour to get it.
Yeah.
And part of that sucks, but I mean, maybe it's just getting old and jaded, right?
Yeah.
Part of it is wonderful.
Yeah, because it's kind of like a weight off too. It's like, oh, hey, I don't have to check my phone today because I know I don't have service, so nobody's going to call me or nobody's going to send me a message. It's like, oh, my phone's back at the house, whatever.
Yeah,
I can't take a picture, but whatever.
You can breathe deep there,
Yeah.
It's just, Yeah. Part of it, I think part of that is really scary to people. But if you were
Oh
forced,
man!
if you were,
look at the U.S. when you have a storm come through and you lose power for a day, like people fucking freak out.
yeah, I love all that stuff.
I was just.
But it's funny to me. I'm like, because normally I'm not a prepper, but I'm ready to go when something happens. I've got supplies. It's not a big deal if we lose power or whatever else. But yeah, like watching the normal 98% of the public just freak out like COVID. Oh my God, I don't have toilet paper. Like,
Okay, so
your problem?
we'll make a plan.
go outside and get a fucking leaf.
Like friends of mine in Africa that are natives have never even used toilet paper.
Yeah, go get some rocks like the Afghani guys. Yeah.
Yeah. It is strange. Like we're so spoiled here, which is fine. I think
Soft. I call it soft.
Yeah, soft. But I do believe it's like most people, if had to do it, would be fine. They just don't realize it yet.
It'd take them a long time to revert back to being able to do it, I think.
Yeah, and they might not have enough time to find that.
Oh, man, well, speaking of that, so I was at my friend's house the other day, and a family member was there working on a tire. I had no idea how to plug a tire. I'm like, okay, I can show you how to plug a tire. It's not something normal for people.
Yeah, if you don't know, you don't know.
So I show him plug a tire in ATV, no big deal. I come back later, and he's got a flat tire in another one, and he doesn't know how to change a tire. Like, you're a Boy Scout, Eagle Scout, or whatever it was. I'm like, you can't change a tire, and you're a grown man with kids and a family?
A grown man.
Yeah.
And you're not talking about tire on rim. You're just talking about swapping wheel to wheel.
Yeah, lift, jack it up,
Right.
pull a tire off, put another one on. Like, this, like basic skills like that are so far gone from a lot of people in society, at least in the U.S.
I had a conversation
crazy.
with a girl my age that crazy. I talked to a
yeah.
girl. Yeah.
Catfish.
No, but I was referencing some people that I know, and I'm like, man, they can't even drive standard. Like, they can't even back a trailer. And she was like, well, that doesn't make them less of a man or whatever. I'm like, I'm not saying they're not a man or whatever, but I'm like,
yeah, it does.
But I'm
Yeah, I
also
think
like,
it does.
they're
Yeah.
fucked. Like,
My wife could back up a trailer.
yeah, like basic shit. And and it wasn't me being like, I'm more of a man than them. I'm just like, how do you go through like my dad worked a lot. I saw my dad on the weekends, but I still figured all this shit out.
Like I don't like Terry being more of a man than me or Rad being more of a man than me.
I just shoot farther.
Oh Jesus, you do not. But it's like, yeah, why would I ask someone else to kill my own dinner? Or like just knowing that I can do those things.
Yeah.
All that stuff is
It's not even like a flaunt. You're not flaunting it. It's
no,
just,
and I think it's been this way for like thousands of years, and women inherently want a man.
it's literally in our DNA.
That can take care of them.
It's like in our genes.
Yeah,
in our
I think
DNA.
it is. Like for me, I don't have to kill animals to eat, but
Sure do enjoy it.
I can afford to buy it. But it's like, I do like it, and yeah, it's such a great feeling to know like I can go there and live at my house in Africa until I'm an old man, and I don't ever have to leave that
If
ranch.
shit hits the fan, I can kill an animal, start a fire, cook it, and provide meals for a family.
Yeah.
Everything else is easy.
Yeah.
There's a satisfaction in, if you've ever been which obviously you have, if you've ever been a part of a team where it's like, if I fuck up, it's like they're going to suffer for it. Like the whole rather be let down than being let down thing. Like there's a satisfaction in knowing, even though I'm not necessarily a part of a team where these people are relying on me right now, I know that if I were in that situation, I can, like, I'm not going to be the weakest link in the chain.
Yeah, that's embarrassing.
Yeah.
A lot of people do stuff because of embarrassment. I heard at SIG in like the factory now. It's like,
Oh, here we go.
someone that just came to work here, and they worked in assembly at one of the factories. So they got a couple systems, and I guess apparently one is you build the whole gun start to finish and do the final inspection, sign off on it. So when it goes to final inspection, if there's anything wrong, they call your name out over the loudspeaker to like humiliate you.
That's
Smart. Bring you there. Yeah. So in some ways, it's not bad. But like for me personally,
Their employee retention is going to go down.
I think it has.
yeah. So they're I hear they're at their lowest employee count in 5 years and can't keep it. But for whatever, this is all maybe all.
There's a better way of doing it. Yeah.
But when I thought about it, and this person told me this, and it was so stressful to them. And I thought that wouldn't be a motivator to me at all. Like you're gonna try to humiliate or embarrass me for like fuck off. Like I don't. Okay.
I got my earpods on. You can't hear you anyway.
I'm just like, that was interesting, and I thought, oh, well, I could see how that could work it, but that wouldn't work for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, for a long amount of time, yeah, it doesn't make sense. But if it was just like, once a month, I could see.
Like after number 5, Jay. God damn it.
Number 5, that would have been the first day with Jay.
Yeah. Again, here we are, Jay on the main stage. Come on up.
Yeah. But Jay,
I wouldn't give a shit.
Been here for years.
I'd dance my way up there.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, it's the same for me. Yeah. Well, okay, let's ask some gun stuff quick.
I was just going to ask
we
you.
got way off track.
I don't know. It's fun.
I was going to ask you if, because you did numerous things in your tenure, do you have a favorite weapon system or platform that you personally got to use, not necessarily watch someone else or whatever?
I'd say it would have to be my recce gun that John built for me. So that recce gun I got in 2001.
Jesus.
Old school. Yeah. Old school. So 16-inch Wilger barrel, night 4 in. I kept that one all the way through the end. Swapped the barrel a couple times, but I had, and John probably know this too.
You swapped the barrels because you wore them out or because
wore
of,
them out.
Okay.
Yeah. But that gun went on every combat op, just about at least 90% of them.
Well, what was the whole setup?
So Colt lower,
Yep.
night foregrip, Geisley trigger or forearm foregrip, whatever you call them. Wilger barrel. I had op sync suppressor, then an AAC suppressor.
Oh.
I think I might have had a night suppressor too. I don't know. I went through a few different ones, but
Yeah.
just a classic.
What
16-inch.
optics did you run on it?
The first one was
There's a lot of optic changes.
I was gonna say,
2001 and 11.
so the first one was a Leupold, like a 2 to 10, like a little
power.
like a little. I think it was 210, maybe like a 2 to 8 or something.
They're variable by 2000.
Yeah, I figured. I just have always seen the fixed 10 powers on a lot of shit.
No. Yeah, so a little Leupold variable power with a. We first started. One of John's gunsmiths welded a Picatinny rail on top of our rails for the first JP mounts. That's one I wish you could get back. Like, we should have patented that thing. But we mounted our JP red dots on top of there. Started there, went to Night Force.
So that was just for quick?
Yeah, it's quick up close. So it sat on top of.
Which is really popular now.
Yeah. So
Development group,
Were
imagine.
yours, did you guys ever run into, I know I've heard it on the Army side, were you ever running, it was like mill reticle MOA turrets?
Yeah.
Or the MIG.
Was
we
like
get in
Marine
have-
Corps Navy
yeah.
thing.
Oh my God,
That was dumb.
dumb. Yeah, so started Leupold, went to Night Force.
Oh, that 2 to 10 Night Force was.
Yeah,
I still
I
have a
ran that
couple.
thing
They're
forever.
great.
Yeah.
I like them. They just brought it back out. I think.
Yeah, they did
there's
an
one on our
XX8,
desk.
I think 2 to 10 or 2 to 12 or something.
Yeah, it's 2.5 to 10 or something.
Yeah.
I've got one on my desk.
Yeah, those are great. So that one lasted a long time.
What buttstock did you like?
I think I had the SOP mod on there forever, and then I went to the
that.
Me
CTR.
too.
Yeah, the SOP mod is my favorite, but it's too heavy. So the CTR.
Yeah, CTR is fine.
That's what Eric
Eric-
Burt
I was
did
gonna say
at
Eric did that one,
Reptilia.
right? Yeah.
So for those of you watching, Eric Burt Reptilia did the CTR
The
stock.
stop mod feels good on your face for sure.
Wonderful. It's got that nice rubber butt pad. Not that you need it, but it's just grippy.
And you can put your whatever some batteries in there and
Yeah.
fucking Skittles
Put
or
your
whatever.
smokes in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that I love those stocks.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Having
was
that
set
good
up forever.
cheek well,
Yeah.
it's nice.
Yeah, so that one went to Afghanistan a bunch of times, Iraq a bunch of times, made its way to Africa maybe once or twice.
What
around.
you ran a bipod on it?
Yeah, I had old Harris bipod on it.
Yeah.
Lawn furniture.
What about
That, and then I went to the old Magpul little like angled foregrip thing.
yeah?
that
Oh
on
yeah.
for a
Oh
while,
wow.
yeah.
I forgot about
Oh
those.
nice.
Yeah, not the whole grippy thing. Never
Yeah,
really got
no.
into those things. Yeah,
What about what ammo were you shooting?
Black Hills 77 grain. That thing, the killer.
That's put a couple people on the ground before.
Yeah, it works. It shoots
shoot
really good,
them
and it works. I mean, we mixed it up a little bit with some 87 grain stuff and some 70 grain tipped and stuff. But 70 grain or 77 grain was the one I shot most of.
How far were you comfortable with that setup with 10 power with the
Oh, man,
5.56?
we would train to 1,000 with that for a 5.56 gun. It's not going to have a ton of energy left, but
I'll outshoot you any day.
Did you guys ever mess around? We had John McPhee on and he had that chopped down SR25. Did you guys ever mess around
yeah,
with
we
the
started out with another one with John. So we came back from Iraq, when we started going back into Iraq in 05, 06, running the SRs, which are 20-inch barrels, I think, on the SR-25, original barrels. Anyway, so it's super long, big, clunky gun. So we're trying to figure out a way of having a 308 gas platform that I could fit in and out of vehicles. So we brought this down to John and some sniper guys and I, like, hey, we've got to figure out how to do this. So John brought in, I think he chopped my barrel, the first one. Then he got some different barrels in, and we went 25 or 12-inch barrels and 13, and tried everything under the sun, tried to get it to work.
Was a 417 was a 12-inch.
Yeah. So that SR, it shot. It wasn't great, like a minute and a half gun or so. So we took that one to Iraq in 07. I carried it a little bit, and then Spanky carried it for a while. But yeah, we started that whole thing back in 06, 07.
Anytime with the 308 scars, the 17s?
No, not a scar guy.
Yeah. I've heard both sides.
Junk.
He left white side, and he's like, scar.
Yeah.
I left white side when it was still cool.
Yeah.
When he was sucked into the SOCOM stuff.
It seems like short 308's a little harder to do than people think.
It is. And we fought with a bunch of them with the 417s and had problems there. And I think they're still having problems with whatever version they replaced those with afterwards.
Both groups, it seems like, start getting some dumb stuff.
Yeah. I don't even know if they're going, I think they've switched off from 308s completely now.
Yeah. You know, me and Trey Knight, that's how that started.
Is that you've got that 260?
Yeah. So, awesome. Did I ever tell you the story about, or Terry, about the 260? They were, so it was after the Remington deal, and I was going through the lawsuit, so I couldn't really work for anyone. But I still wanted to, like, you know, support. And when I realized there was a bunch of small guys in y'all's groups and stuff like that, it's like,
what are you looking at me?
Not Terry, but other guys.
Yeah.
Well, you're strong though, but there's some guys that don't
stumpy.
Yeah, don't work out. You know, they're just like 135 pound dudes, and it's like, Jesus Christ, that SR-25 is heavy. And so I had dinner one night with Reed Knight and David Tubb, who is like, one of the best shooters in the world, and he'll let you know it.
Oh yeah,
which is cool. Like, he's
very confident.
Yeah, and I learned.
I like Dave. He taught us a lot.
Yeah, I love Dave, and at one dinner I learned more than I did probably the rest of the year. You know, and listening to him, and I didn't even know about 260 until but he starts telling me about it, and like hit probability, shoot flat, like the recoil, like all these things, and this dude's shooting like offhand 1,000 yards with iron sights. So I'm like, well, he probably knows how to shoot. Mm-hmm. And so I thought about it, and then. It was always in my head after talking with Dave Tubb. I'm like, let's build the lightest SR-25 we can in 260, and I'm going to take it to the groups. Like, that's the thing. And so we did it, 18-inch barrel, and the gun weighed a pound more than an M4. And I was like, this is the shit. It's like 1.5 pounds, 2 pounds heavier than an SR, or lighter than an SR-25. And I was like, 260, like, it'll kill shit. And, so I took it to one of the groups and got, a bunch of dudes on the range, and they shoot it, and they're like, yeah, fuck, it's awesome. I was like, yeah, that's what I thought. Like, recoils like halfway between the 308 and an M4. Easy to shoot, lightweight, 1,000-yard gun. And then, so they shot it some and all, and then kind of the guy in CDD at the time, he's like, look, it's cool. Because, like, I had no stake in it. I was just like, you guys should do this, and Knights will make it for you. They said, it's just the ammo, like us having a non-standard ammo, because we get so much from the Army, like, whatever. It's like, man, it just doesn't make sense, but thanks, it's a cool idea. And then, all it was like 2 years later, next thing you know, like a new guy's in CDD that shoots competition, is a sniper, and fuck, and then it's 260. But it was like that gun and them talking about it. And so then
I wish I'd have seen that.
6.5.
That would have solved the problems a long time ago.
I've got it here. There's only, I mean, you think now all that night stuff is so like kooky as far as prices and collectors. This is one of two. I've got one, and Trey Knight has the other one.
Yeah.
But yeah, it made lots of sense. So it's cool to see like the groups doing stuff that's non-standard in that regard.
Yeah, we went after I left the sniper shop. The guys started shooting the 260 LaRue's, which is another one of your good friends. But ballistically, it was shooting very similar to our 300 Win Mags.
Yeah, well, that's what Dave told.
Yeah,
Dave
so we could shoot.
told me it's like same trajectory as 300 Win Mags.
So we could shoot that, practice wind calls and ballistics and everything else, but not have the recoil.
Yeah.
Dave he was the first one that really taught me like long range spin drift and Coriolis. He was doing left hand twist barrels and like all this stuff. It's like, oh my God, you're like in the rabbit holes. But
yeah, I'm not into everything he does, but he's definitely smart and experienced, and you can learn a lot from him.
Yeah, sure. Anyway, so the recce gun was my favorite for sure.
Bill Rapier said the same thing.
So
it's reliable.
It
worked every single time I needed it.
Reliable and so easy to shoot.
We'll have to ask John. I think I had the last Colt lower in the Navy inventory because I wouldn't turn it in. Like, you got to turn it in. I'm like, fuck you. I am not turning
We're
this
not
thing
taking this gun. Yeah, you got a gun that you love and trust. You don't take it apart.
Yeah.
Was it a select fire lower too? Or, yeah.
Yeah, I've got a fixed rifle, a 16-inch, 6.5, and I'll never take it apart because I shot like a 5-shot .4 group with factory ammo with a 10 power scope. And like I am like the 12th best shooter in this building. So for me to
There's only 5 people here.
Yeah, exactly. So like hunting and all I do okay, but like shooting groups and paper, I'm just not awesome.
Well, and so like the fix is a great hunting round. It's lightweight. It's not made to shoot on the bench accurately, right? Like, it's not. They don't.
Yeah, it's a light gun.
A bench gun and a hunting gun are not the same thing.
Yeah, no, and it's funny because now it's like for our commercial side, when you say hunting, they think of like FUDs and Realtree, and you and I say hunting, it's like just killing stuff, like whatever you're hunting, and you're going to do it this distance. Doesn't matter what kind of animal it is.
Yeah,
that's the thing we realistically see a lot. I mean, there's people that have sent guns back being like, "Oh, my gun shoots 2 minutes," and it's like, well. They're like, I shoot all my other guns fine. It's like, well, that gun weighs 15 pounds. Like, they'll send it in. Our guy shoots it, or whoever shoots it sends it back
or
under.
Amy.
Yeah, exactly. She's tiny and shoots this gun fine. And it's like, you're just not used to shooting this light gun. Like, just put some time on it.
Men can't handle that with their ego. It's like, here's a .6 group that she shot the first 5 rounds she shot with it.
Yeah,
same ammo.
Like, she's a little girl. Like. That we're not bullshitting you. We want you to be happy. But
and that's a weird thing when you talk to the people, because it's like they'll give you their story of what's going on. It's like, hey, like, not trying to be a dickhead, but are you a good shot? Like, do you shoot a lot?
Everybody's a good shot, right?
Yeah. Well, man, my fucking army buddy couldn't do it either.
I tell you what, like a gun with a lot of recoil, I shoot well for 10 rounds, and then I'm horrible.
Yeah, it starts to get old, right? Like I'm terrible. Like, I can shoot a group of 100 yards, but it gets boring quick.
Yeah.
Like 4 or 5 rounds, I'm like, all right, I'm good. I don't have to be a perfect tight group. Like, let's go out.
It's the same reason I have a driver. Like,
let's go to distance and have some fun.
I'm a grown man. I can drive a car fine. It's just like I get bored. Next thing I know, I'm distracted. I'm running off the road.
I'm terrible. My wife says to me,
once.
like, hey, can you go by and get this on the way home? And like halfway home, I'm somewhere else. I'm like, she's like, did you go? They're like, what do you mean? Completely forgot. Every day.
Yeah.
I was going to ask, let me open that. Old Big Tuck out there was talking about kind of his, to cool down, or what he would shoot pistol all the time. I also was told to not bet against him, even when he's shooting against you with a pistol, but I don't know.
Yeah, he got me last time.
Yeah, I heard that. But did you have, I mean, we've talked to other guys too on the Army side as well, and shooting pistol a ton. Obviously, it makes you a better rifle shot. Was that something that you guys were doing a lot, is shooting a lot of pistol?
Yeah, I mean, we do, just from the fact of what our job is, right?
Right.
And it's a lot more fun to shoot 1,000 rounds of pistol a day than rifle rounds. So, yeah, we shoot a lot of pistol, and it's really fun. You're drilling the fundamentals. You're drilling your sight picture, sight alignment, trigger squeeze, and your follow through, your recoil management. Right? If you're doing that with a 4-inch barrel, I can do it with a 16-inch or a 20-inch barrel. Yeah.
Is there a particular pistol that would be you'd say is your favorite, or has it changed since you've been?
Yeah, it's definitely changed. Like growing up, learning how to shoot pistol was the SIG 226. Right, that was our go-to forever and ever.
Wonderful
and
gun.
Classic line.
Thousands and thousands of rounds through that thing, and that's what I carried for 20 plus years until 226. Then we started getting some 228s and a couple other smaller guns for some of our concealed stuff. But
HK 45.
Yeah, we carried that a couple times, but Yeah, I wasn't really a fan of it too much.
45 by then too was kind of like, I mean, John said it last night. It's like 9 mil kind of does
It does everything. Yeah,
more rounds and less recoil, more reliable.
Did you guys do
options with the type of bullets? Once we figured out the type of bullets, like, yeah, we can do everything. Yeah, same thing with the 5.56, right? Get rid of the green tip, and you can do a lot of shit with that gun.
Yeah. That's 70 grains.
Yeah. Did you guys get into 40 when the Army got into 40 or no? Yeah, never messed with that.
For the 40, the worst.
Weird. It's a weird round.
Not reliable. Doesn't feed worth a shit.
Yeah. So nowadays we're shooting
recoils like hell.
Good enough to kill Biggie and Tupac.
Oh, it's like 6.8 or 6 arc. Good at killing.
Yeah. Just
you got to get it there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So nowadays I got a Zev.
Oh yeah.
Zev OC9 that we do all our teaching with.
Yeah. Basically a Glock platform though. Yeah.
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 The sexy Glock.
Yeah.
Taylor's over there now. You got to get him in here. One of our old guys.
Yeah. Zev, I don't like. Yeah. Okay.
There, I have always.
I love Glock. I mean, to me, it's just like
I've always not liked.
Well, whatever they are now, they used to be $400 gun that would work every time, like an AK. It just fucking works.
it's good.
Yeah.
The OZ9s originally always reminded me of the like Polymer 80. You can buy the 80%, whatever. Like I just couldn't, whatever. But they have. I've shot one of their same geometry, but the metal grip ones now. They're metal framed ones, and for some reason, and I mean, you can do whatever you want to them. You can put tungsten in them to make them shoot flat or whatever, but they feel nice and they do shoot really well. Shadow systems, not a big fan.
Well, I think I don't know because I've never been in a situation I have to like shoot someone in self-defense.
Me either.
So, but I will say, like, I don't like recoil, right? But hunting the buffalo in the forest where, we shoot them at like 5 yards and so shoot 3 rounds of 3.75, take rads 458 lot. Never noticed the recoil difference at all. So I kind of think about that like with pistols because I love the 365, the design, the SIG,
it's a great
Adrian that designed, but I don't trust SIG in their manufacturing. So I don't carry it, but I've got 3 of them, different versions. I love the gun, but I carry a Glock 43X, and I don't.
It works.
Yeah,
it
works, and I would rather have.
You're not worried about to get it dirty or scratched up.
Yeah, and if I go to the range and think about it, like I can shoot the gun pretty well, but if I go think about it, just like shooting targets and stuff, like I don't know, it's not like awesome to shoot. I love the 34, but.
Me too.
I think in that situation, like, I don't know, I can conceal the gun. It's lighter weight, and I can shoot it fast. It's fine.
Yeah. That's actually, you bring up something that I'm curious about is I think a lot of emphasis now, especially on YouTube, where you got these guys training over YouTube or whatever, instructing over YouTube. But it obviously,
Really?
Obviously,
I didn't know this.
Recoil mitigation it's a positive thing. If you can manage the recoil better, you're going to be a better shooter. But in the real world, on target, how many times have you ever thought about like, wow, my 5.56 is really like, is it something that's even thought of, or it's just like you're getting it out as fast as you can get it out? And
well, I mean, you're doing controlled shots.
Yeah.
Right? You don't want to just start ripping bullets.
Right. Yeah.
But and we train so much.
Yeah.
That you don't even think
Muscle
about
memory.
it.
Yeah.
Being able to stay on target with a small field of view too. Like I would much prefer that. Yeah. Like I don't know. You've killed way more. Well, I don't know if you kill more stuff, but
bipeds.
So, but I would much prefer, like in my experience, like I hunt a lot, as you know, and it's don't want to lose an animal, like all the things, you want to make a good shot. But I would take a smaller bullet where I can stay in the scope and stuff most times, at least for me. Like, what do you?
Yeah, think? I think especially from like hunting aspect, as long as I'm shooting a cartridge and a bullet configuration that's got enough energy to do what it needs to do, then. I mean, technically, I can't overkill an animal, but why would I want to shoot a 50 cal at a deer when I could shoot it with a 6.5? Right? It's more comfortable. It's just easier to shoot and a quicker follow up shot. Most
of the FUDs though, like if I watch a lot of YouTube stuff and about hunting or whatever, and that old school mentality is, you need a bigger cartridge.
It's because guys can't shoot.
Like overkill, and I just think. The best gun is the one you can shoot the best and get the best bullet for it. You're not afraid of, like, I can shoot my gun fast, that 45-degree bolt throw, and I hunt and shoot a lot. And it's like a 6.5 fix. Like, I can shoot fast.
That's
and far, and I would rather put 3 bullets into something than one big one.
Bullet design, and I always go heavy for caliber too. So if I've got an option of a 130 grain bullet or a 170 grain bullet, I'm going to go 170. That's just me. I want heavier for more energy on target.
Yeah.
But that's me too.
The fix, and then especially going to Africa the first time with you and the engineers, and because our engineers can shoot.
Yeah.
That's what really made me realize, like, oh, all these guys these old heads or these rednecks that complain about, like, guys are like, you can't kill an elk with a 6.5. Like, I would never carry 6.5. I'm like, oh, you don't know how to shoot. Like, you just told me you can't shoot.
Yeah, elk's a soft animal. It's not hard to kill.
Right. Like, I mean, I watched an eland get killed with a 6.5, like one shot. An eland's 2,500 pounds.
I've killed almost everything in Africa with a 6.5. Like everything short of like an elephant.
Yeah, and not up close either, far away. So I'm just like, when I hear people say certain things, because I agree you can't overkill, but I'm like,
shot placement and bullet design.
Right.
Energy. If you got energy on target with the right bullet design, it doesn't matter.
Right.
Yeah.
I think 6.5 got a
hole through vitals.
It got a lot of bad rap just because it's like the hippie round of. It's a great ballistically. It's an awesome round.
Yeah. No, it's good. It's good. I mean, it
got the old school guys like it's just a 260 or a 264. So you got a lot of those old school guys that didn't like new change.
Well, the only reason it exists, I mean, 260 is awesome, but they made the case so long, bullets gotten bigger and longer, then you can't fit them in the magazine. So that's why 6.5 exists. Like 260 is awesome. It wasn't future proof really. Yeah. But if you shoot a lot, like I shoot a lot, and I love 308. Like I'm no hater, but 308's better inside 300 meters. But other than that, it's like I don't want extra recoil, and then it's more affected by wind. You have more drop, where 6.5 is like 300 Win Mag.
Yeah, it's sexy.
Yeah, so I want to be efficient, and part of that is like carrying a 6-pound gun up a mountain's nice. Like over a 10-pound gun.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Yeah, people don't think about 4 pounds workout. Yeah, okay. Well, it's hanging off my damn neck.
Yeah,
like
not sitting in a ground blind.
That's 4 pounds every step I take up the mountain.
Yeah, it's been interesting because if I had just read the internet and talked to people, because when I talk to people now about hunting, you know, like I've killed I don't know how many animals in Africa in the last few years, but it's
a couple.
I mean, it's probably 1,000 or something, you know, like legit. And then when I hear people talk about certain things, I'm like, I mean, it's probably you with experience with what you did. It's like, oh, so you've never really done it much. People say something to me and I'm like, okay, so you've shot 12 animals in your life.
That's an opinion. Okay.
Yeah.
No, and this is what I like about the fix. So like when I went over there last year with you and Tom and the guys.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Yeah, so I guess we stepped back. So last summer, probably one of the shows last year, I was talking to Kevin. We're like, hey, let's do some kind of fun trip. I can get to Africa. We'll go figure it out. And he's like, hey, just happen to have this SOC-F thing that we're going to do. So he invited Tom Smith and I over there to Africa. And we show up.
In my mind, it was, so this is green and blue.
Right, yeah.
The highest level.
He's pitting on the backside. He's pitting us against.
Oh, yeah. Because
like, hey,
Tom Terry said you can't shoot
this
shit.
Is awesome.
Yeah, because they're so competitive in general. I was like, this is going to play out great. I'm just going to make this a competition with two of my friends from opposite teams.
Yeah, so we show up over there. It's a beautiful place. I've never been to South Africa.
Mind the microphone, actually. Don't mind because you're going in.
That's right there.
Oh,
yeah. I like it.
Just a little bit.
Just a tip. Yeah, so we get over there, fly in. Kevin sent his plane and land down there at Crusaders, and Tom and I and Griff just having a ball. So we get in there and just essentially, and I don't know, I'm like, what's on the list? And Kevin's like, oh, we'll figure it out. And I got Ryan, who's my PH with me, and he's like, don't worry about the list. So I was like, do you want to shoot that? I'm like, yeah, that's a cool animal. I'll shoot that.
Sure. Yeah.
So after like a day and a half.
So Terry, you're my assistant. He doesn't miss a lot.
Right,
It made Ryan's job easy.
Yeah. So we started shooting animals and then to the competition point. So I'm killing animals. So I've got the fix and I'm like, this thing is awesome. It's light. I stole a 16-inch 6.5. Yeah, it just shoots everything I want to shoot. The ballistics are on. I'm having a blast. And Tom was shooting a 308, I think.
I think so, yeah.
And he was not having a blast because he was shooting, come to find out later, after my epic day of filling the truck up with 6 or 7 animals, we passed Tom. I filled it up with 6 in the morning. We passed Tom on the way out, and he didn't have anything. He's going back the same way I just came. So I'm like, there's animals out there. You'll be good. Yeah. So we go back, dump the truck out with all the animals. And then Ryan's like, hey, let's just go look. Let's go have a little cocktail, sunset. So we do this. We go out there, and I end up shooting a diker like 400 yards.
Not a big animal.
And that's a little animal.
Yeah,
It's like the size of a Dotson.
Like this big.
Jack Russell.
So I shoot it, and then we leave. We go from the rim all the way back down. As we're going back, we pass Tom. And I'm like, oh, hey, I think we had Dave with us. I'm like, Dave, get the camera going. So hopefully this turns out. But I'm like, hey, Tom, so what'd you shoot? And he's like, he's pissed. It's like, I didn't shoot a fucking thing. It's like, they're going to the range because like last light trying to figure out what's going on. He missed like 3 more animals or something. And I'm like, oh, did you shoot a diker at 400 yards? He's like, fuck you. So come to find out, so we go back there and now I'm feeling bad. I'm talking shit. And he's having a bad day. I'm like,
actually bummed.
Kind of an asshole. Like kind of feel like an asshole. But
Don't worry, though. Those guys said so much shit about y'all and they were still working. Like,
but come to find out, he was shooting in mils and meters. And the ranges, and his PH was calling everything in yards.
Yards, yeah.
So he was shooting over the top of everything, and you got to figure it out, and then killing a bunch of animals. But yeah. Anyway, so that the fix was the first time that Africa trip was the first time I really shot the fix as a hunting gun, and man, it's lightweight, it's small, it's easy to maneuver. It's like, God, this thing's kind of fucking nice.
The folding stock makes a big difference, I think, and just
it's a slim profile, and it carrying around it carries like an M4. Like the trigger controls, everything's the same as an M4. I'm like, all right, this is like second nature to me.
Yeah, because I think, well, us being the same age again, it just became like the AR when we were old enough to buy rifles was just becoming like accessible or commercial gun.
Yeah, because it had the whatever ban there in the early '90s, and that lifted probably mid '90s or whatever
2004.
That was. Or 2004?
94 to 04.
But yeah, I mean, I remember in college, I got a Colt A4, a Blue Label gun, which was one of theirs where they put a block in it where you couldn't put a sear and so on. But next to our college was a huge county range, and there would be 50 people there on Saturday. And I didn't know anyone that owned an AR when I got my first AR. There was never one at that range.
It's like a military gun.
Yeah, it's like, oh, that's not practical. There's no use for that. Yeah. And it's like, and I didn't know. Like, I liked Arnold Schwarzenegger movies and all that stuff. And because, I didn't grow up with guns and stuff. And I was like, so I bought a few guns, had a few guns, started shooting at the range. I had a bunch of rednecks I went to college with shoot. And, but they only knew like the hunting stuff or whatever, kind of like you as a kid, but I was like, always the AR, not only was it like sexy because it was cool looking, I see it in the movies, but it's like, it's just really easy to shoot well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the gun is
no recoil. Yep.
Yeah. And so I've always been attracted to the ergonomics and stuff. And then like the Black Rifle book and all these other things as I getting older and, studying guns. It's like, he did the best job. And the ergonomics matter for shooting a gun well. Do you agree with that? Or?
Oh, absolutely. This is what I teach in a class. Like, if you can build the gun to fit you comfortably, if it's comfortable, you're going to be repeatable. And if you're repeatable, then you're going to be accurate. Yeah. So if it doesn't fit you, you're going to be all over the place. Your cheek weld's going to be off. It's not going to feel natural. So the ergonomics, especially on M4, like you got the adjustable butt stock and everything's easy to adjust.
Great.
It's like, like you can shoot it, I can grab it and adjust the butt stock and shoot it just fine.
Well, and it probably goes to this. And God, I wish Stoner had lived past 97 and could see
like where it is now.
Yeah, where it is now. And he was working at nights when he died, right? And but it's we've tried to replace the M4 so many times. Like we were talking about Wayne Weber, my buddy, that was the president of H&K USA. Like that was like 1988, 1989. He goes to H&K. He'd been in the Air Force. The XM8, they're trying to replace the M4 then. Yeah. That was a fucking over a generation ago. And it's like, they can't do it. Did the SCAR, like whatever the gun is, it's like, no. It
doesn't work.
Yeah. No, and some of it, I thought, because I was part of the SCAR program in 2002 or whenever that started. And the heavy made sense to me. And I had that gun first to build silencers for and all. But when I saw the light, and they were like so excited about the Scarlight. And I was just like, cool. And I'm like, well, it's bigger and heavier and less accurate than my M4. And it's going to cost 3 times as much. Why the fuck would you adopt that?
It's unreliable.
Yeah. And even if it were reliable, it's what should be the most important thing for the military. But it's like, everything else is not as cool. Oh, you can swap the barrels for barrel lengths. It's like, yeah, and that's probably why it doesn't shoot as good. Like, side folding stock. But yeah, the stock, the stock, when you fold it, it's that, like, who cares?
Yeah.
It's just, God, Stoner he's like Van Gogh. He did not get the credit he deserved before he died.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just that ergonomic now for carrying. So I carried my recce gun for miles and miles and miles and hundreds of missions. It's like it's just there.
Yeah, to that
I don't
point,
even think about looking at it. I know where everything's at.
Yeah, and that's where I think the muscle memory. And for me, I got the same impression just in my experience than they are. I had several guns and even some HK guns. I had a HK 93, another gun like they're semi-auto at the time. Oh, it's big and heavy, and this is weird, and trigger kind of sucks. And it's like, but my little lightweight CAR 15 or whatever it was, AR 15 something. It was a green label gun that I had. Lightweight pencil barrels, like the gun weighs nothing. It's so easy to shoot. I was like,
all the plastic furniture on it.
Yeah, and I was like, those guns suck. Mine's old. Mine actually had the carbine stock, but it's aluminum and like rubber coated or whatever from Colt before they went to the plastic ones. And but yeah, the round little fiberglass hand guards or whatever they're called.
Yeah.
But that stuck with me. And so when we all started talking about the fix and the development, it's like the traditional bolt guns, like the safeties go different ways for different manufacturers.
Yeah. Here we go.
Like now at 50, I can't see what it says anyway.
Yeah. It's like here, or is it here, or is it around here?
Yeah. And so, and it's like some of the Army guys when they were trying to teach me to shoot long range years ago, and they had 700 base guns too. And like they built me one that had a jewel trigger, and it was just like whatever, 10-ounce trigger, something super. Yeah. And then I was like, and they said, so just ignore the safety, never use the safety, just put the bolt in the first position, and that's safe. And then when you go to shoot, lower the bolt and then shoot. It's like that's your safety. Makes sense, but for a production gun, I don't know. I go, that's stupid.
Yeah, you don't want to walk around the woods with it.
No, but so like AR ergonomics.
Even our customer, like there's a lot of our customers that were young guys that got into guns through whatever video games growing up. And the first guns that they get, because it's so prolific now, is an AR or whatever. And now these guys are transitioning into hunting. And that's stuff for it's like you just said, it's like muscle memory. They're getting this gun with the ergonomics are getting guys into hunting, and they're not even going for that traditional like 700 pattern anymore, Mauser action.
Here's a question for you. So on the design side, whether you did this on purpose or not, so when I'm on the bench, my safety acts as a ramp for my thumb. Did you guys do it on purpose? Or just?
I did personally, yeah.
Well, it's why it has 45 shorter, but it doesn't matter in a bolt gun. But so you could do that.
Yeah, I flipped that. I'm like, oh man, that's a nice little.
When you see now,
right there.
Robbie and Lindsay were here at the time, and they go back to SIG and they do the cross, and now they have that they build a big shelf on the new one.
Yeah.
So it was, because Robbie could really shoot, and he was really into in positional shooting, you wrap your hand around the grip to control the gun, but in prone and stuff, not using the
if I want to be precise, I'm going to wrap it up and pull it off the side,
but in different positions, which I've learned, and I mean, of course, you've trained a million times more than me and shoot much better than me, but I shoot both ways, but it depends on, in like a real life scenario with, I assume, combat, or definitely my experience in hunting is that's cool to shoot prone and from a bench, but that generally does nothing for me other than, confirming accuracy, getting a zero, shooting a group. The rest of it is, and you're shooting off sticks, off a rock, off whatever. And so if I need more control of the gun, I'll use the grip. So I've learned to shoot both ways, but yes, that's what that's for, is to put your thumb on it.
Nice. Yeah. Nice little bonus.
Yeah. Well, what'd you think of Africa and hunting Africa? I know you'd been there in the military.
Yeah, so I did 16 months, I guess, in the Cape, or the Horn of Africa area. So going back and actually just to be able to enjoy it from the hunting side it was unique because what I was expecting for South Africa with like the flat bush, like you see on all the shows, like we're going to walk around and get stabbed in the leg with thorns and maybe we'll find some animals. But down what Crusaders got at Andrews is like beautiful.
Green Hills.
Yeah, the Green Hills of Africa, right? Yeah. So it's very similar to like you go out west, like big hills, and you get up on top, and it's wide open, and animals everywhere. And I mean, he's got a fence on part of it, but it doesn't really matter. So there's so many animals everywhere, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, and, that's actually only like 5% of the property.
Yeah.
So
like,
the rest is all.
And so we hunted a little bit there, but just the from the hunting aspect, the variety of game, because like looking through my binoculars, I could see 5 different species of game. Like, okay, there's oryx there, and there's blessbeck over there. Like, which one do we want to go after? Like, okay, there's nothing really mature there. Let's just see what happens, and just watching the game animals just kind of interact with each other. It's really cool.
Yeah.
Then just having a plethora of different types of game. It's amazing.
Every day you see a new species. Like, where was that yesterday?
Yeah, and Ryan's awesome. He's like, what do you want to shoot today? I'm like, fuck, fine, no, you're the PH.
Yeah.
Let's go find something.
That thing with horns.
Yeah.
He's a stud. My God, that man is fit.
And he's like, oh, you want to go bushbuck today? I'm like,
He loves bushbuck. He's
so cool.
the best bushbuck hunter there is, period.
Like within an hour of finding a bushbuck, I'm like, I thought these things were hard to find. He's like, well, normally they are, but
they are for everyone except Ryan.
Yeah. He just knew where to go.
He just loves them. He's like so passionate about bushbuck hunting. Yeah, I fell in love with that part. Well, for 2 reasons. Well, just Crusader, Andrew, and Red, and all their
family down there is just, you roll into camp, and I've been at other hunting camps where everybody's kind of stuck up, and the guides are like, oh, here goes more hunters, and I'm just going to tell you what to do. And you don't get that vibe there at all. It's like everybody just wants to have a good time, their family when you show up, and it's like super chill and relaxed.
Yeah.
There's no pressure there.
The Scottish, man, they're just good time. But then also it's like the mountains, because when I had a farm in Georgia, like I was wanting to get something in middle or South Georgia, but it's all plains, and peanut farms and stuff. But it's where the big deer are. Mm-hmm. But then by chance, I had a neighbor that was a real estate agent. And before I bought a place, he says, before you close, I'd found a place in middle Georgia. He's like, I have a client selling a property north of here in the mountains. Come look at it. I was like, I don't know. Man, when I got up there and had the view, I was like, you're so right. Like the view. So going to Crusader, 6,000 feet elevation there.
Oh, it's beautiful.
And these giant canyons, part of the year, it looks like you're in the Grand Canyon. It's so beautiful there.
Yeah. No, we went up to chase the follies that one day, and like way up above tree line, like in the sky. It's beautiful. You see forever.
Yeah, it's cool.
There's no roads. There's no contamination with people and power lines or anything else. It's just wide open.
Yeah.
Which was fun because we got stuck and there was no way to come get us. We had no cell phones.
You got to figure your stuff out there. You sleep in the cruiser. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that was crazy. But
yeah, God, I love it there so much.
Yeah, look forward to going back. I missed the Crusader trip this year with Field Ethos, so I'm going to go next year.
Oh, with Pat and Charlie.
I was supposed to go down there with Andy and all those guys, and the wife had surgery, so it took priority.
Oh, yeah.
Women.
He was there when, I was going to say, they were there when you were there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's over there right now, isn't he?
Yeah, he went back. It's, him and Bates are doing Cape Buffalo and something else at another spot.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Beetle will kill it with his hands.
Well, Bates wanted to shoot with his bow. I'm like, well, you can do it. But you got to have the right setup.
Rad's got a client that does it every year, and Rad hates bow hunters.
Yeah. It's you got to have the right stuff. Yeah.
And you got to be able to shoot.
Yeah.
Like Andrew was good with a bow when he was there. He was incredible. Because it's not necessarily easy in Africa with a bow.
It's thick. There's brush everywhere.
But Rad's got a good client who is incredible bow hunter, and he kills buffalo every year with a bow. And Rad sent me videos this past year of him doing it, and it was just like, not me, my man.
Well, you're shooting with 10 yards with A6. I mean, it's not that much difference.
Yeah. That was fun. Yeah, we went on a buffalo hunt. I kind of put us in a bad spot, probably. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, charging buffalo on the side of the mountain's not probably not the best spot to be in.
It was pretty cool, though. Like, I was after this one buffalo. There's nothing special about him other than he was very old and he lived with
Mangy.
another one. Yeah, and on the
ones.
side of this mountain, it's hard to get to on this big rock ledge, and so we set some PHs and Whitey up on the adjacent mountain with spotting scopes so they could see down. Because when you look over there, you're like a mile away. You're like, oh, it's just grass. No, but
200
you get
yards,
over there, it's like 8-foot tall bushes. You can't see shit. So they lead us in on the radios, and we, I don't know, we had like an hour or so walk in there, and we end up getting right on top of them without knowing. So
on top of them.
yeah,
Always seems to happen that way.
And Terry and I are behind a small bush big enough for two people to scrunch and hide behind. And I don't know how long it was. It seemed like hours.
We were there for a while,
laying down. And of course, the one that I wanted to shoot's on the other side of another bush. And the one that I didn't necessarily want to shoot, who was a better buffalo, but he was a little younger. I mean, still old.
Right.
But yeah, that's the one I shot. But it was just like from a trophy standpoint, he didn't have widths. He didn't measure good. He had no bosses and he had no drops. It was a shit buffalo, shit genetics. They should have culled him.
Old, yeah.
And he's missing hair on half his body. Yeah, he's great. But of course, and so Terry and I are there, and I think I probably peeked out behind the bush once, and like the one close to us knew something was up the whole time.
Yeah.
Couldn't figure it out. And like kind of saw me one time. And we're a little uphill from him. He starts walking towards. Did you even have a gun?
No.
Oh,
That's a good place.
You had your fix, and Rad had his gun.
Subsonic.
Yeah.
And so I need to make a good shot, right? And this other one starts coming towards us like step by step, and how close do you think he was at the end?
Inside 10 yards, for sure.
Because I was thinking,
I'm like watching his eyeball blink. I'm like,
Oh, shit.
and I'm laying on the side of the hill behind the bush. I'm like, if this thing charges, the only way I can go is downhill.
Yeah, and all you got
where he's going to be faster than me anyway.
Yeah,
you got your air guitar with you, and that's all
Yeah,
you
and
got.
then Rad's behind me with the gun, so if I run that way, then he's going to shoot. Yeah, I'm like, this is not good, but
yeah, because it seemed
he was getting
like
curious.
to me,
sure.
it was like he's within like 3 yards. When he was like ultra close, a little bush by, but he's coming uphill to us, so we have a little bit of an advantage. But I remember at one point, whether I told you or Rad or Andrew, it was like, if he takes one more step, I'll shoot him.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was just getting too close.
Yeah.
Like we were very close to just being able to kick him in the face through the bush.
Yeah.
And
Rad's just like, don't look him in the eye. I'm like,
oh yeah,
What the fuck else am I going to look at?
yeah, I'm like, I got to make sure I know where he's at because like through the bush, I can like see his boss, which looks like this big at that range.
that was sketchy, but it was. But he was on my side, so like I could have shot him, but. So I was like, but I did make up my mind at one point, one more step, and I got to shoot, because he would take like one step and then sit there for like 10 minutes.
Yeah,
like,
doing the dance.
I'm just eating on this bush, nothing to look at.
yeah, and I said, okay, one more step, I'll shoot him. And then he stopped and he backed up, and so it was okay. But yeah, then we had a total rodeo, because in the end, it's like, I'm not going to have a shot at this buffalo. And so we just had to go 1, 2, 3. I stand up over this bush and shoot, like snapshot. So it's a total rodeo. We could roll the clip now, Jim. So
There we go.
Anyway, we do, and it was cool because
fun.
we had I shoot him in the stand up, shoot him in the chest best I could, and he was quartered, and another one in him, and he backs through the bush. He's gone, like we can't see him. But on the radio, they're telling us like the direction to go, and we go, and then I like shoot him in the head at like 100 yards or something, and he takes off. And we're right behind him, and then they tell us like that we have wind, and all of a sudden it's like there's a video you can see like he spins around, and Seppi is like on the radio he's like, he's 80 yards ahead of you, he just got your wind, he's coming back at you, he's on the trail like running at you, and so we just back up the hill like I don't know 10 yards or something.
Yeah, we're just going up the hill as fast as we can.
Yeah, so I'm on there. I'm like, all right. And he comes in, and, so he's running through the gaps in the bushes, and he gets, like, in front of us, and I shoot him.
Tumble him.
Lucky shot in the shoulder, and he just tits up.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool.
Yeah,
So
that
it was
fun.
exciting.
That was fun.
Yeah. If
First
anyone's,
buffalo.
I have the utmost confidence in Andy Arabito. I think he will do just fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Andy's going as the backup for if Ryan messes up. But.
Yeah, it is strange, like, buffalo getting people's heads. I mean, they're scared.
Oh, they're super awesome though.
But, there's like plenty of clients that want to shoot their first buffalo, and they go get on one, have an experience, like you and I did, where it's getting close, and they won't shoot, and they ask them to take them out of there.
Yeah, Dave showed me a video of he had an older female client, and it's different spot. They were somewhere else, and it's wide open. There's 2 big bushes. There's a few walking through, and the one they want to shoot is by itself. And he's telling her, you can hear in the video, he's like, "Don't shoot yet, don't shoot yet, don't shoot yet, don't." He keeps saying over and over, and he gets a "don't shoot," and she clacks one off and hits it.
And people get nervous.
Yeah, I think she just psyched herself out, and it turned. It knew they were there, turned and immediately charged it. And Dave stepped out and shot it. Actually, the cameraman, he dropped camera and dipped, but Dave stepped out and shot it. But
you'd have been fired.
Tommy climbed a tree on my
I was
first.
gonna say, I don't know. I've heard of it happening, and they weren't fired. But
Tommy and Jay, they just get special passes, like they have some dirt on me.
I haven't run from anything yet.
You've run from this company twice.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, Buffalo for whatever reason, but I think I've been around and shot enough of them now where, like, because I'm a huge wuss, but it's
You can start to tell their temperament. Like Rad knows exactly what that buffalo's thinking.
Yeah, and I've been in enough situations with them where I've learned a fair amount of that. But this is one thing that I know with buffalo, right? They're very hard to kill. Doesn't matter the caliber, doesn't matter how close you are. Like, they are hard to kill. And and you can make a shot on one, but the difference in a buffalo and like a real softer animal that might be big is like you make a perfect shot on a buffalo and it will still fuck you up for 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's got 100
and then
yards,
it'll run 500 yards and die, like with a hole through its heart.
Yeah,
like they just are. It's a different animal than others. But I think like you got to keep your wits about you. And it's probably like everything else. Like focus, make a good shot. Your first shot.
You got to be in the moment there for sure.
Forget being scared. Make a good shot the first shot. Then it's like you put bullets in them till you can't see it or it's down. And don't risk, because I've done it a couple of times, and that was probably one example there. I got impatient with that buffalo. It's like don't panic or get impatient and make a questionable first shot.
Yeah, I think that's something that people worry about too, is even on stuff that's not dangerous game, where it's like they feel like they have to, this is the only opportunity I have to pull this shot. And it's like, if you're not comfortable with it, you got to be able to say, I can't pull the shot. Like, I cannot do this.
Yeah, wounding a buffalo or a leopard or a lion or an elephant is sucky. Don't do that.
Like a bummer, yeah.
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah.
I mean, even if it's like a kudu, magnificent animal, but it's like an elk. The thing's going to be 5 miles away before he stops running.
Okay.
Like,
He's not going to go 100 yards and turn around and try to kill you.
In the mountains, that's like no fun.
Yeah, especially over in, like, we got lucky. Drew shot a black wildebeest at one point, and it went down this canyon, and like we got to it, but it's like some of those areas, if it tumbles down the mountain, you're not going to, like, you let it run too far, you're never going to get it. Yeah, you will never get it.
Yeah. Well, okay. So what else is going on now? You're doing training and stuff.
Yeah, so we got so we'll probably talk about that next one, but Camp Vertex down in Texas. So our same place we do our duck hunting and deer hunting at Skyfall. We got off season, we do Camp Vertex, like a 3-day, think of it all-inclusive resort, except you're shooting guns and fighting and everything's included. So we do we got pistol, carbine, long range, do the ballistic classes, and then we do 4 or 5 sessions on a mat.
So jujitsu.
Jiu-jitsu, we do some self-defense stuff. We did a women's class, so we focus a little bit more on self-defense. And
come down there with Jay, throw him to the wolves.
Oh, hell yeah. Here we go. Fight off.
I got a decent darse.
King of the bush.
If I can get side control, I got a decent darse.
You darse Terry.
I can't darse Terry.
I'll give you the company.
I was like, I know. I'm like,
you ain't darsing nothing.
No, I'm like,
I'll let you darse me. We can split the company.
all right, perfect.
Terry, you are honorable Midwest farm kid. The utmost integrity. You wouldn't do that.
I know.
No, that's true.
Those Midwest farm kids, man, I like them. I wish we'd get more of them. Mitch and Nick, they're fucking gold.
Yep. Yeah. No, I mean, we were down at Skyfall, and it's an awesome spot. I mean, we came back and told you, and I know you.
Yeah, because you're a SEAL sniper now.
Right, exactly.
Yep.
I'm reserve SEAL. But I know that you had
Instead of capital S's, it's all lowercase.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. For you, we're gonna go down at some point. I think flights. There were no flights or something.
No, we had the big storm come through.
iced out. Yeah,
iced out storm.
yeah. But I mean, as soon as we got back, we're like, man, you got to go go down. It's awesome. Like,
'Cause you guys have 1,000 yards, yeah?
Yeah, 1,000 yards there, but now we've got a new place out west that we can go and shoot as far as we want, and we've got all kinds of animals. So I was telling Ethan we can do some live tissue testing with that new A6 round that's coming out.
Oh, let's do
Got
it.
an airstrip there so we can land there, self-contained. Yeah, we got our own lodge all by ourselves.
Tom Smith just got his pilot's license.
Yep.
Oh, I forgot he was doing that.
So he can bring us
Bring
there.
Tom Smith back for some redemption.
Hell yeah.
Kick Terry's ass all over West Texas.
Yep. So we got that online now, so we can do a little follow-up out there.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to for 5 years. I was mule deer hunting out there between Fort Stockton and Marathon.
Yeah. Yeah, we're just south of Marfa.
Yeah, so it's cool out there.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
canyons you can shoot far.
Yep.
But the facility at Skyfall too, like we're pretty spoiled with your range too. Like we can do whatever we want, and to a certain, it's hard to get real far beyond kind of 500 around here, at least in Northeast. But just the facility, like we didn't go through like a proper class, like a full group of class or whatever. But you can tell like that facility makes it easy to learn. Like it's
super chill because when we run a class, it's max at 12. So we operate at the speed of the class. So we got, like this women's class, they ask a lot of questions on certain topics. So we'd spend more time on that topic.
Yeah.
Guys want to spend more time on pistol or carbine or ballistics or whatever it is. We're flexible enough in that small group to do essentially almost one-on-one training with guys and kind of tailor it to what they need.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, how many, class of 12, how many instructors?
Usually on the firearm side, it'd be 2 or 3. So like Tucker, myself, Steve will help out. And then sometimes we'll have a couple other guys show up.
We should, because we need to go down, especially me and Mitch and Nick, to worry like people that go on. We should get a class. It doesn't necessarily have to be 12.
No. We
go
keep up to 12, but we got first class lodge, bar. Like you don't have to go anywhere. Like once you come in the gate, it's there. Yeah.
It's awesome.
Getting old. I love that. What do you call it? The early bird special and all inclusive.
It'd be cool
That's
too.
my jam now.
It'd be cool too to go down there and do a class, get spun up, and then around the corner is Johnny Hill's place too.
Yeah, John Hill's like 20 minutes away, 30 minutes away.
Kill a bunch of stuff there too. And I know you guys have deer and waterfowl and pigs, tons of pigs too. But yeah, it'd be cool to get the class and then do the practical side of it.
Yeah, I think John's got some does that need to die.
Should go do it. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we're good. We got more. I mean, we go on forever. But
What else you find on Reddit?
Apparently Kevin's not a good guy. That's what Reddit says. Yeah, I don't know.
Not a gun guy. Is he?
yeah, I wasn't here to make friends.
Yeah, he doesn't know what he's talking about or something. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Disruptor.
Well, I agree. Don't know much, but
Yeah.
here I am.
But you run with it.
Yeah.
I don't know a lot, but I go fast.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Reddit. What a shame.
No, yeah, it's fun. Hopefully, I don't know if we actually covered anything, but it was fun just chatting.
Covered a lot.
Yeah.
It's great. Yeah.
And
Thanks for coming out.
Yeah.
We got the big man, Big Tuck out there too. We'll talk about Vertex. Bring him
Yeah,
on.
we'll do a break, do Vertex and Skyfall, and how we incorporate your guys' guns down there. And
So exciting.
That package arrived, by the way. Steve confirmed that package showed up.
Good.
Yeah. Got some stuff. So
yeah, we're slowly piecing all your stuff together.
yeah.
All right. So next year, Africa again.
Oh, absolutely. Well, we got the one we auctioned off at Sock F. We got to do that one. Round 2 with Tom and I. Then we got Crusader 3.0, I think, coming up.
Also, depending on how King of the Bush goes, there might need to be a challenger. We talked about that too.
Yeah.
So someone's got to challenge me.
Somebody's got to be a judge.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know if we ever talked about it on it. So Jay and Thomas came up with this idea of King of the Bush, where it's like a 5-part series, 6-part series, to where Jay is challenging me on hunting in Africa. So it's this will be like a reality show, but a competition.
Yeah, it's gonna be a multi-part series, and it's gonna be good. Terry got me spun up.
Yeah, Jay's cheating
By
as
now,
much as
you're
he
going to
can.
forget about it, though.
No,
We'll do a refresher.
I'm gonna have to Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna
You
have
have
to
to do a
rewatch
refresher
everything.
in Africa just to have a
Maybe,
good reason
yeah.
for me to be there.
That's right.
Yeah, coach.
Exactly. Yeah.
God, You probably hadn't lost in a long time.
I just sit in a high rack with my megaphone and like, run faster, Jay.
I would love that. Oh, you get him to run. I'm going to be impressed.
Oh, there's some, you wait till you see some footage. Doing some crazy shit in there.
All right. Yeah, we should probably add some of the audio from Rad's messages when Jay sends him a WhatsApp mocking him and how he's going to kick our asses. And Rad responds with a 3-minute voice note of how
he was bent. Because we were texting back and forth. We were texting back and forth about how fucked you're going to be. And Rad was not impressed.
Yeah, I don't remember. Some of the comments are like, we'll get this done from your porch. I've seen Jay climb a mountain. Like,
it's just going to be so embarrassing for you guys. It's gonna be terrible.
Well, I hope so for your sake.
Me too.
Your mom will be real proud.
That's right.
I'll have to resign my position here at the company.
That's all right.
And life. I'll probably get some plastic surgery and move to another country.
Yeah, there you go.
Give a face off.
Yeah.
Nicolas Cage style.
Yeah, I'll go do that. Anyway, all right. Well, Terry, thank you, buddy. So
absolutely.
good to see you.
Pleasure being up here, guys.
And we'll see you next episode.